What is up, everybody? Hope everybody is doing well. As always, it is your good friend here, Andrew Escrow, the Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. And today, I am very happy to be joined by someone who's back on my show, who I didn't scare away, apparently. Crazy. She came back to AutoZone just to ask for my number, and that is Megan. How you doing, Megan?
I did. I was told today by one of my chatters that she went to the AutoZone and she was terribly disappointed that she was outnumbered by women. Apparently,
Really? No, that's
she
not
went there
true.
looking for a man and she was outnumbered.
This is
She
not
said it was
true.
4-1. Women at the AutoZone. I'm telling you guys.
Okay. Women at the AutoZone waiting to have their
Maybe?
car.
Maybe?
Okay,
Who
they were
knows?
not the staff at the AutoZone.
I didn't say they were the staff. I said that the auto parts store was a good place to meet women, and apparently I'm right.
Oh my God, you are killing me! You're killing me, Megan. Hey, how are you doing today? Are you doing all right?
What a day! I've been running all day.
It's been crazy because look, I'm looking haggard right here because I was up till 3 a.m. I was working on something else closer to midnight, and I was like, I'm gonna have a nice stream tomorrow with Megan, and then these documents drop, and we get all this information on the Idaho 4 cases with Brian Kohberger. All the documents drop. That we've been waiting for, really, all the lawyers have been kind of salivating for to go over the legal documents. And I have to, I'm staying up, I'm reading all of them. I'm seeing what's important, what's not important. So I end up looking at my clock. I'm like, it's 3:30 a.m. I got to go to bed. I got to stream in like a couple hours. And then we have a book club we do. And I did that before this as well. Whenever Animal Farm will have that posted on the locals fairly soon for you guys. But yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy week.
Insane. And today has been really crazy for me because I know I asked you if you wanted to come on my live stream today because I was like, holy crap, this is happening. They're going to release the affidavit. And I've been covering the Idaho 4 murders like pretty intensively. And so I knew I was going to live stream today. And I don't normally live stream on Thursdays. I usually only do Monday through Wednesday. And then I catch up on my work on Thursday through Friday at pjmedia.com. And today, though, I was like, I think they're going to have cameras in the hearing. So if they're going to be there, I'm going to cover it. Turns out they did allow the cameras, but they were recording it and then they broadcast it afterwards. So that was a problem. But
yeah,
whatever. We still got it. It was no big deal. I mean, all we found out was that he was read his rights and he was denied bail. And that's all we know. But the affidavit.
Affidavit. So what I wanted to go over was really the affidavit because the video really is a nothing burger. I can pull that up.
That's nothing. Who cares?
It's nothing. The video is him. If you've seen a picture of this dude, you see one picture of this dude. I can pull him up real quick for everybody here.
I had Steve Gosney on the show and Legal Vices, and both of them said they were kind of impressed with the prosecutor that he didn't use the platform to grandstand or make any, he's clearly not a camera hog. I wouldn't expect Kris Kringle to be a camera hog though. So
he literally did look like Kris Kringle.
He totally
the lead prosecutor, he looked like Kris Kringle. So this is him at the first appearances the other day. This is his attorney. I know some people are like, she looks young. I had people say that comment. She's actually not. She's been practicing for 25 years now. Some people do ask, has she had, her name's Anne. She has, I don't believe she has had a capital murder case, but also there's not a lot of capital murder cases in Kuntai County, Idaho.
Not in the whole state of Idaho. We looked it up. Yeah. Steve Gosney found the graph of them, and there's literally been like 1, 2 every couple of years. It's not a lot.
Yeah. So it is not a lot. Look at these two here. Max Mira, who says, Max AutoZone, lady lube job, special free, no uggos.
Oh, that's funny. Look, you just never know.
You Japanese degenerate. Drama in the front, party in the back says people have gotten convicted on less than the DNA found on essentially the murder weapon. So we'll get into that and what evidence they have. I think, honestly, Megan, I think the best thing to do is just going to be for us to go through this affidavit.
Yeah, do it because it still hasn't sunk in for me. There is so much, oh my God, in here.
Yes.
that, yeah, let's just do it.
And I think this is great because like, you get like attorney and like this is not, I don't mean this in a bad way, but lay person,
No,
non-attorney.
I am a layperson. I'm a journalist. I'm a member of the media. I'm not an attorney. I have attorneys in my family. I play an attorney in my head sometimes, but I am not an attorney. So no, it's I always have good questions for attorneys normally. Usually they're not stupid.
And so, yeah, I mean, we can just read through it for those who haven't. This is also up on my locals, guys. So those who have access, legalmindset.locals.com. I posted this document so you guys can follow along with us. Maybe you've already read. Maybe you know what's interesting here. But I'll use my best reading voice here. Exhibit A. This is the affidavit. It is kind of weirdly formatted. Like there's no like header, like affidavit. And then it just starts with Exhibit A.
I think because it's a statement, and this is how they usually type the statements. I've seen a lot of witness statements and whatnot. So it could be that they just didn't turn it into an official looking court doc.
Yeah. And it like maybe I'm just a stickler for formatting, Megan. You get the template documents.
It is Moscow,
yes,
Idaho.
I know. All 6 of their police officers. We'll get to that later. Exhibit A, statement of Brett Payne. The below information is provided by Brett Payne, who is first of all, can we just acknowledge that
that's
Brett
like
Payne
your Lego voice. That's like a Lego Batman voice I'm hearing coming out.
It's a pretty cool name. I will say Brett Payne is a pretty cool name.
It is a good name.
Sorry, Goldie made me laugh. I beat Phoenix Wright, ace attorney, so I'm basically a legal expert. Yes, that is true. Brett Payne is employed by the Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of corporal and has been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. Corporal Payne, his name is Corporal Payne. Oh no, this is too much for me. Is assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and members of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, exactly.
Now, I don't know if you feel this way, Megan. Maybe you're not as like black-pilled and jaded as all the rest of us, but most of my chat, most of my chat, whenever they hear the FBI, they're immediately like, we don't believe it. It's completely wrong. It's the opposite of what they're saying.
I agree with that when it's something political. I think when it comes to these, crimes like murder and stuff, I think you've got the good guys who are usually working on these types of cases. The ones you got to worry about are the feds who are involved in the political hijinks in DC. Those are the worst ones.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Like glowing legal mindset. Yes. Cause I am secretly a Fed in Korea, guys. Yes. But no, you're absolutely right about that. And Solon says, good evening, Andrew, and non-blood drinking Megan Fox.
That's correct. I do not drink blood, and my thumbs look pretty normal. I mean, they're just normal thumbs.
They do look normal.
See.
At November 13th at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department, Sergeant Blaker and I responded at 112 King Road, Moscow, hereinafter the King Road residence. You're gonna hear this a lot. So the house where the murders took place is the King Road residence, KRR, if you will, to assist with scene security and processing with crime scene associated with 4 homicides, i.e., the 3 dead girls and the 1 guy, right? Ethan, Xana,
Maddie,
Mogan, and Maddie Mogan, and
Kaylee.
Kaylee, thank you. Kernoodle, right?
Kaylee Gonzalez.
Oh, Kaylee Goncalves, right?
I think it's Gonsalves. At least that's the way I've been saying it, but I could be wrong. And Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Okay. I have written those names so many times now that I've committed them to memory because I've written about this. I'm if you guys want to follow my coverage, it's on pjmedia.com, and I've written a lot about this case.
Yeah, and honestly, like, you remember the first names, I think, first, but like for me, because I tend to default to people's first names, I can just go, okay, there's the first names, but the last names I'll sometimes end up swapping. But I think Goncalves, and so I guess maybe Gonzalez is close enough, right?
It's Gonsalves. I think it's Gonsalves. The C is
with a
like
C.
an S.
Yeah, Portuguese surname. Yeah. So that, like, Portuguese version of Gonzalez, right? Like, there's
maybe right. It's like a little bit different. It's just a little, I don't know.
A little bit of a tweak, right?
I'd never heard that name before. It was hard to learn how to pronounce, but that's what I've been hearing in the media. That doesn't mean it's real. That doesn't mean it's true, and it doesn't mean they're right.
The media will intentionally mispronounce stuff like over and over again. Like, I actually had a friend who was Brazilian, and their last name was Gomes, but they intentionally when they were like interviewed by the media, had it pronounced as Gomez, because they just were like, okay, the media is going to pronounce this wrong, we'll just let it go.
Just let it go.
Yeah. So upon arrival, the forensic team was on scene and preparing to process the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers, advised me he would walk through the scene. Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. We then walked upstairs. So they entered in the bottom floor where the two living roommates are, and I think that's where.
No, they walked into the ground floor, which is the second floor. Right?
No, that's not what they say. They entered on the bottom floor door on the north side. They then walked upstairs to the second floor.
Oh, gotcha. All right. And by the way, the roommate, Dylan, was on the second floor. She was not in the basement. She had a room on the second floor. It was the other roommate who was in the basement. There were not two roommates in the bottom floor. One in the bottom, one in the second. So Xana and Dylan on the second floor. That's what makes this next part so gasp-inducing. Like you're going to lose your breath. Okay, yeah, I'm just warning you that this is crazy. Dramatic.
So Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernoodle's, aka the Kernoodle room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the southwest of the hallway. As I approached, I could see a body, later identified as Kernoodle's, laying on the floor. She was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon, i.e. a knife. An edged weapon is a knife. I mean, oh yes, a sword is an edged weapon as well, but this was not a sword attack. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin, or Chapin, or Chapin, however you say it. I'm just saying Ethan, right? Ethan was also deceased with wounds later determined to be.
So it's interesting. They say he was in the room
caused by sharp force injuries. So.
Interesting that he was in the room, because I know there was a whole lot of speculation that he may have been in the hallway on his way out or whatever, but not in the hallway, in the room.
Right, in the room with her. I then followed OFC Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom was on the west side of the floor, was later determined to be Kaylee Goncalves, or Goncalves, right? Gonzalez, whatever you want to say it.
I don't know.
The Goncalves
I
room.
Give up. Call her Kaylee.
Kaylee's room. I later learned from a view of the body camera there was a dog in the room, and everyone was so worried about this dog. I'm gonna tell you right now, Megan. Yes, they were like, "Is Murphy okay? Did Murphy get got?" I'm like, "He did not. He was fine." The addendum to this story is I think he's proper, the proper owner, I guess, or the ex-boyfriend Jack. So the dog belonged to Goncalves and her ex-boyfriend Jack Ducour. So I believe Jack has Murphy right now. But I found out from an interview of Jack on November 13th that he and Gonzalez, I'll say Gonzalez, shared the dog. O.C. Smith then pointed to a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogan's. Hereinafter, the Mogan bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this room, I could see 2 females in a single bed in the room. Both Gonzalez and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side. The sheath was later produced and had K-bar or USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later identified a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. Okay, I want to stop here for a second. So just pure speculation, because at this point, I want to, we're reading a story and your mind goes places, right? Your mind tries to come up with fill in the blank, right? When you read about this knife sheath, do you think it was left there intentionally or accidentally? What did you think when you read that piece of the story?
When I heard that the sheath was there, I thought, "Oh, fuck, that's fantastic." He dropped it, didn't know it was there. What did I think? I mean, yeah, I'm imagining he didn't leave it there on purpose. It was an accident. It was dark. He didn't have any lights on. In the heat of this is the fourth person he's killed now. It's come loose from his belt somehow and landed on the floor or on the bed. Was it say on the bed or on the floor?
Well, it said on the bed next to Mogan.
Next to Mogan. Okay, so it's on the bed. So somehow, as he's over her, it comes undone from his belt, and he doesn't notice, and it's too late. He's out of there before he even notices. That is a very big lucky break for the police, because without that piece of evidence, I'm not saying they couldn't get him, because there's a whole lot of other circumstantial evidence, and people have been convicted on circumstantial evidence alone.
Oh yeah, very circumstantial evidence. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of that in this, but with the DNA on the buckle snap, the snap of the thing, which takes the knife out of the sheath. So the only person that's going to have his finger on that button that undoes it is the guy using it. Like there's just, it's a great, just it's this. You couldn't write a novel like this. It's
yeah. That part of like that part is the most, I think, damning evidence that we have here, is that button snap sheath found right next to the body, thing. And I think exactly what you said. I think the guy, he was maybe like, holding her down. I don't know whether, he was like on top of her, next to her, or whatever, holding her down, in the process of stabbing, whatever. And it came loose, right? Maybe she was flailing, defensively and ripped it off, whatever. He didn't notice that, the knife was already taken out of the sheath.
Yes.
It's removed, and he didn't even think about it. He was just thinking about getting the hell out of it.
And by the way, the chat wants to know if Steve ever found his K-bar. He did not. He was looking for it while he was on the stream with me. His K-bar, which is exactly like the one described, in a brown leather sheath and everything, went missing, supposedly.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So Steve Gosney's K-bar, which matches the description of this murder weapon, is missing.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And if you guys don't know what a K-bar just generally looks like, there's like a generic K-bar photo. So don't kill me, guys, here if you're like, that's not exactly the murder weapon.
Actually, Steve showed it to me. That was exactly like the one he had. That's exactly the same picture. He believes it probably looks like that. He showed us a different type of knife that he has, which is the same type. It is a K-bar, but it wasn't the one with the brown leather sheath. It was a black sheath. But yeah, he showed us that on my stream earlier today.
Yeah. It's that yes, uncivil. Steve Gosney is the one who did it for sure. So this is definitely not a spoon. This is a real knife, a real big knife.
A real big knife. Steve showed a similar knife, and I was shocked by how big it was. When I see that picture, Andrew, I don't know about you, but when I see that picture, it just doesn't give the actual size of the knife. I mean, and Steve holding it up to the camera, I mean, this was a big blade, a very big blade. Can do a lot and he made the point, and it's a very good one. Steve is so smart. A K-bar is designed specifically to kill a human being. It is a military knife. It has a guard, as you can see on that picture.
A little bit of a size comparison. You can see a hand right there. So obviously,
it's a very big knife.
This is a fucking big knife. It's not a small knife,
And it has a guard, a thumb guard. So he said it would be, we were all like, how could you get through 4 people with a knife and not cut yourself, not get injured? He doesn't appear to be injured. His hands look fine. His, wrists look fine. Everything looks fine. But he said these knives they're made for killing human beings. So, they have very good grips, and he's not surprised by that at all. Apparently, Steve Gosney knows a lot about killing people with a knife.
Well, I mean, it's a popular way to kill a person, and especially like if you're in a situation, a lot of people, I think, in Andrew Branca, I've talked about this with him. I see Uncivil in chat. I know we've talked about it. A lot of us lawyers talk about it. People downplay the dangerousness of knives. People are all about guns. Knives can be just as deadly, and in some cases more deadly, if you are in a close proximity to someone. If I'm arm's distance from you, it is more dangerous if I have a gun than a knife. A knife than a gun, right? The knife is going to be more deadly than the gun because you probably can't react, draw your gun, fire, and shoot. If I'm within arm's distance, I'm probably able to kill you before that.
It turns out that this knife killing is very quick, because I did the math. I went through all the times in this affidavit they got the time of death down to between 4 4 a.m. and 4:20, but they believe that Xana was active on TikTok still at 4:12.
I saw that 4:17
So,
or 4:12. We'll get to that.
4:12, 4:12. So we're
Yeah.
talking this person, whoever did it, managed to kill 4 people in 7 minutes because he was on camera at 4:20 racing out of the neighborhood. 7 minutes, 4 people. Andrew, tell me how?
Well, once again, knife attack. You're quick, and it also, if you've thought about it, if you've thought about how you're doing it, if you've gone through the scenarios,
scary,
very, very possible. So let's go to the timeline here, because this gets the timing that you said, which is kind of crazy. At first, I thought it was the entire night, but it actually is a very small portion.
Very small window.
Evening of November 12th, Chapin and Kernoodle were seen by the BF, right? That's just a witness.
That's the other roommate.
Yeah, the other roommate, yes.
Yeah.
BF and I believe DM, right?
Yeah,
DM
that's Dylan. Dylan
yes.
Mortensen. Dylan Mortensen.
So you see BF at the Sigma. I'm not Greek. I don't know, Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at Nez Perce Drive from 9 p.m. to 1:45 a.m. BF's also estimated that at approximately 1:45, Ethan and Xana returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Ethan did not live at the King Road residence, but was a guest. So he wasn't living there, but you know how boyfriends are. They're effectively there. I had to, at one point, Megan, I had to kick out some boyfriends when I was living with, I lived in a house during my master's program. And there were 3 girls there, and they always had their boyfriends over. And I was like, yo, you guys got to pay rent or you're going to get the fuck out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, so you got Gonzalez and Mogan were at a local bar, the Corner Club, and they were seen on video footage between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. At 1:30 a.m. was the famous Grubhub truck, the Grubhub truck footage where everyone's looking for poor hoodie bro who had to be explicitly cleared. Who had to be explicitly cleared. I felt so bad for him. So bad. They had a live stream from this Grubhub truck, and it was available on Twitch for public viewing. So everybody got that. And they put here, yes, that video was captured by law enforcement. Yes, of course, they looked at that. A private party reported that he provided a ride to Gonzalez and Mogan at 1:56 a.m. This is like Uber, right? When they say private party, right? It's their Uber.
No, actually, it wasn't. That came out. It was a private party. It was the university provides a ride share for students who need rides when they've been out partying. So it's basically like call a ride. It's a university service.
So it is effectively a university Uber.
Yes.
Okay, got it. My universities have had that. When I went to UNC and UF, they kind of had your drunk bus. You can call them up and they'll get you somewhere if it's within a certain proximity of the campus. They'll just drop you off, or they'll drop you at a central point that's nearby.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good service.
That's something that really stood out to me about these murders as a mother that terrifies me, is that here these girls did exactly what I would tell my girls to do. They did all the things that we tell girls to do. Don't party alone. Don't drink and drive. Make sure you get a ride. Don't walk from a bar to wherever by yourself. They didn't. They had escorts everywhere they went. It turns out Hoodie Guy was perhaps a friend who actually walked with them on purpose so they could get their their ride. So it's just, I'm really bummed that here these girls did everything right and they still, ended up dead. And that makes me nervous and scared as a mom. Well, and Serene, they didn't leave their friends. She was with her friends. She was walking. They were in pairs. Right. They went home. The one big mistake they made was not locking all their doors. I mean, that I don't understand, going to sleep at this late hour with doors wide open.
Yeah. But once again, you're tired when it don't call me if you haven't forgotten something at 4 a.m. when you've been drinking, staying up all night, partying.
Oh, sure.
You're a kid and you said me you haven't forgotten to lock the door once. I'll call myself on that. I know I'm sure at some point somewhere I live, I forgot to lock the door. I'm almost positive of that. Right. at some point, right? Even especially when I was very, very young, first time living away at a shared house, and just didn't think to lock the door because I was like, well, maybe I'm not the last one in, right? Maybe somebody else is coming in right after me. It's possible. And look, I think another thing, Megan, is we have gotten in a culture where, all the scared moms say, watch out with the Uber drivers, watch out with this, watch out partying. But it turns out that you can do all these things right, and bad things can still happen, right? It's not
when you're safe at home,
right. Even when you're at home. Yeah, they actually, this crime does not require them to have ever actually gone out that night. They could be sleeping in their beds and all this could have still happened.
It's just scary. I mean, we think these things are going to keep, our kids safe or keep us safe, and you just never know.
No, absolutely not. So DM and BF both made statements during the interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. or at least asleep in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m., with the exception, which is what you mentioned, of Kernoodle, who received a DoorDash order.
This is new information. At 4. Look at the timing.
This is drunchies. I'm going to tell you that right now.
And the cops, by the way, they talked to the DoorDash delivery person.
This is right here. Yes.
So literally this person delivered food at 4:00, and within a few minutes, the killer walks into that house. I mean, this is such a tight window.
So this right here is probably where the door was not locked. So probably she went down to get her food. She's drunk or tired or whatever else. It's 4 a.m. Right. By the way, guys,
I'm shocked at who delivers food at 4 a.m.
Oh my, Megan, you sweet summer child.
In Idaho?
I understand that you don't understand online dating. I get that, but let me tell you, online delivery.
I don't get that either. I don't do that either.
Let me put it this way: you guys in America, you guys are in the prehistoric age. If I order right now from my Korean food ordering app right here, I will have food to me in 10 minutes or less. Forget 30 minutes. It is like that every single hour of the night. It can be 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever. We'll have it like that. In college, especially college towns, places like DoorDash, Grubhub, their busiest hours are late at night because you don't want to go out. You don't want to go anywhere. You just want to get it to your house, and you're drunk. Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I think food delivery services are great. I always, I had friends who live in New York City, years ago would say, you can get anything here. You can get your drugs delivered. You just call a number. They bring cocaine to the house. It's incredible. But I mean, it's now become COVID made it explode everywhere, where now everyone does this delivery to the house thing.
I was in law school, Megan, and the pot dealers in law school, because when I was in Florida, it was not recreational yet, or not medical yet, so this was illegal. But statute of limitations run, and it wasn't me who was buying.
It was me.
But they would come with, it was so professional. They would come with a little cart. They would come out, they'd break everything out, they'd come to you, and they would let you, choose whatever else. And then and it was super professional. It was very organized, very well. It was not sketchy. There was no trench coat in an alleyway, I think that's what maybe you're imagining in your fan fictions, where people are also at AutoZone and all this other stuff. But it was not sketchy. It was very professional. And the person who did it, he did not make anybody feel uncomfortable or anything like that. He was not a weird guy. I mean, it's Florida, so everyone's
just your friendly weed dealer.
Yeah, your friendly pot dealer. He was
delivery
fine.
Guy. Yeah.
Totally fine. The 24-hour Adderall. That's the new thing too, is the Adderall, especially for law school students. BB, what's up? You see that. Jay says, I left my front door straight up open for 2 whole days sober. And you're in Chicago.
You must not have any pets. Of course, they'd be long gone.
No, they'd be eaten in the neighborhood that she lives in. X-Coomer says, Mindset, I hear you will cover the MILF Manor starting July 15th on TLC. Is this true? Oh, yes, I will. I will be covering that hard. I'll be hard for MILF Manor. I got a copyright, not a claim over the MILF Manor trailer, so I had to edit
keep
that
doing
out.
that. No, don't edit it out. No, you can win it. You can win it.
I'm going to fight the next one.
I have won every single Netflix trailer that they have copyrighted me on. I've won. They just did it to me yesterday because on my locals, meganfox.locals.com, we're going to watch Orgasm Inc. on Netflix, which is insane.
Nice.
It's insane.
I will say, Megan, I have beaten all of the ones for court coverage because I feel like the court coverage is worth it. If it's more than a couple, like 30 seconds or more, then I'll contest it. But if it's like very small, I have like a threshold where I'm like, okay, if I'm just showing this for like 10 seconds, then it's not a big deal. But if it's something
I
that's
just think
long,
they need to be told not to do this.
I
We are
agree.
literally advertising for them, bringing people to their show on Netflix. Plus, we are doing fair use commentary, transforming it into something else. It is fair use, and they have got
Clearly.
to stop. They've got to
Clearly
stop
fair
this.
use. It's the most clear
It's the
case of fair use.
definition of fair use. And
Yeah.
and I just sent in another one because I got hit yesterday for showing that Orgasm Inc. trailer, which, by the way, is the craziest true crime doc you've ever seen. Although there's not really a crime, I don't think there's actual crime in it, but it is freaky. It's a sex cult, and my God, so we're gonna watch that on My Locals, and it's gonna be so fun. So sub to
That's
My
gonna
Locals
be
if you want to
great.
watch that with me. We have cocktails and popcorn and stuff, and it's fun.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, no, I absolutely support, free use, fair use of that, because, that commentary should be something that we're able to get. It's valuable. Sam says there's more to this story. They are being actively surveilled by a group of shadowy people, and the judge has a strange gag order on law enforcement and the attorneys involved in the case. Sam, we'll get to the gag order. I will cover that after the affidavit. I don't know about a group of shadowy people.
I don't think it's strange.
I will talk about the gag order, and I don't think the gag order is strange. I don't think the gag order means what most people think it means. And it already is not being, the way it's being enforced is not how I think people interpret. Like, people are understanding it differently, and they're already releasing information. So are they violating their gag order already? No, I don't think they are. But I appreciate that. And if you have any more information on this, Sam, you got the Carfax on the surveillance, some shadowy surveillance, send it to me. You guys know my email, andrewesquirelive@gmail.com. I'm already getting flooded on this case, but I want more. Drama in the front, party in the back says, if the food was delivered to the same door he entered, the DoorDasher might have been the opportunity he was waiting for. Saw that they were home, the door was open, etc. That's true.
It's possible.
It's very true. That might have been the opportunity. So he just went up and he checked the door when he saw that the DoorDasher was there, and also probably saw that she didn't properly close it, especially if it's a sliding door.
Possible.
Very, very, very possible. Lost and Found says there's an embarrassing number of times that I've closed and locked the front door with the keys still on the outside.
I've done that.
No. I want to ask your gender, Lost and Found, but I can't possibly be more misogynist than I already am. It's not possible. I've already hit the maximum level of misogyny.
Well, I've already admitted to doing that, so
yeah.
Take from that what you will.
Here we go. Okay. So Sam says, "Satan the info. Cheers." Thank you, Sam. I'll try to pull it up later. I appreciate you, brother. DM said she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was woken by at approximately 4 a.m. So DM is a chick. By what she said,
Dylan.
It sounded like Gonzalez playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which was located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard someone. She said she heard who she thought was Gonzalez saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." Okay, at this point, if you hear that and you live there, are you not immediately worried?
If it's a party house, as has been reported, maybe not. But this will just get crazier and crazier until I will have to say something is very wrong with this.
Yes.
But we're not there yet for me. We're not at the point where I'm gonna go, are you fucking kidding me? That's coming though.
We're slowly getting there. And actually, let me pull up this picture here because I want to see if I can get this this photo, because this kind of highlights the other two roommates. So in case you guys want to see them here, because picture it didn't happen. This is the house right here. So Dylan, DM, is here, and the next one I believe is Bethany, I believe. So that's the B, right? So this is DM. This is the one that heard the things, and yeah, we'll see where that goes. All right,
we're almost to the WTF moment.
A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernoodle's phone shows that this could have been Kernoodle as her cell phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. And you know, the police aren't the only ones that know she's using TikTok. Xi Jinping is watching, guys.
Yep. Chinese
Xi
spy
Jinping
app.
is watching you on that
Get
app.
off TikTok.
If you want, like, if you're gonna do it, like, you know, through a browser with a VPN, but even then, I would say.
Speaking of VPNs, would you tell me which one's your favorite? Because that came up today, and I have no idea.
Really, I've used the same one, so I'm kind of like, I've been using one, and if you have one VPN, why do you need more than one, right? And I never got lured in. I got a good deal on Viper VPN way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's worked for me for 3-4 years now, until it ceases to function. I'm gonna use it to obsolescence. You know, I paid for it, you know, and it's like, okay, well, I paid money for this. It was a one-time payment, so I paid money one time. I'm in. That's all I need.
Awesome.
But if you guys have a better recommendation or one that has better functionality, I'm willing to listen. But at the same point, I really only use a VPN when I'm doing very specific things.
We will not take any guesses what those things are.
Drama in the front, pointing in the back. I heard BK frequented AutoZone and Barnes and Nobles. Well, then she's guaranteed to find a hunk. I mean, I've heard there's a guy.
I think he means the murderer. I think he means the suspect.
The murderer frequented AutoZone. You know, you have a way to pick up criminology students. People say ExpressVPN. I mean, Nord is the one that I thought everybody would be saying because they shill everywhere. All right. So DM stated she looked out of her bedroom and did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time. So she's now opened her door, looked, then opening a second time. We closed the door, opened it again.
Comes the second time.
When she heard someone she thought was crying coming from Kernoodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice saying something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm gonna help you."
Oh dear God.
This is the equivalent of like, "Shh, go to sleep." Like that's some creepy shit right there, especially if you don't recognize the voice.
I think she knew something was wrong. I mean, you're not poking your head out of your room every couple of minutes because you think everything's fine. So obviously her instincts, her animal instincts are telling her there's some shit going down and we're trying to warn you. Like she should be able to feel it at this point. Like that something's off. You know it's off. You've looked out your door 2 times now. She still hasn't called 911, but we are still not at the what the fuck moment for me. We're almost there.
Yeah. At 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. So if it's loud enough to be heard nearby,
and the camera was 50 yards away.
50 feet.
Wait,
away,
50 feet.
Yards.
Sorry, 50 feet away. Very close by. And if that could, and Xana's room is directly across from what's her name? Dylan, directly across. So if the camera picked it up, you know she had to have heard the thud and the whimper.
Had to have heard that.
And the voices. She heard a fight. She heard it. And
then you've got the dog, which Murphy, who's barking.
Murphy's doing his job, and Murphy's a puppy, by the way. And here's Murphy trying to alert everyone in the house that, oh my God, now the dog feels it. The dog knows something bad is happening. Like dogs know, they feel these things. Dog is barking. You've heard thumping. You've heard crying. You've heard a male voice you may not recognize. You also heard someone say someone's in the house or someone's here, and you still have not called 911.
Right. So at this point, she's not done any of these things. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Colonel's bedroom. DM stated she opened the door for a third time
3 times
after she heard the crying. And here you go. So she open, close. Third time, there's a figure in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. She described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, RIP, definitely not a Chad, but athletically built and with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in frozen shock phase, which I do believe if
Yes.
you see something surprising, you can be frozen,
But if
especially
if she described it that she
women.
was frozen in shock, then she knew damn well something was very, very wrong. And
Yes.
she
The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe the murderer left the scene. So she sees all of this.
She doesn't
all
call.
of this. She
The
does not
police
call
were
the
not
police.
called until 8 hours later and she had to call a friend first. And here's what I believe happened. I believe that whatever happened maybe traumatized her. Maybe she was traumatized by it, knew something horrible had happened and was unable to act. But she called a friend before the police 8 hours later. And then the friend comes, sees Ethan. They all run out of the house. They don't even know there's other bodies in the house, apparently, and then calls the police. Why wait? I don't know. I can't answer that question. Why would you wait to call 911? Was she so traumatized by what happened that she was unable to? Did her brain shut down? I don't know. But that was my what the fuck moment. Was he came toward her, a man in black wearing a mask, and towards the sliding door, and she had heard all the crying and the thumping and that and all of that, and nothing. Nope. Didn't call the police. Not 911. Now look, I do have to say though, be a little easy on her. Be a little easier on her, because here's the thing: if she had called the police, they wouldn't have been able to save any. Well, if any of them were still alive, they might have been able to save them. But he did this in 7 minutes. Do you think how long, Andrew, does it take the police to get to wherever they are to Kaylee's house?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, look, this is a town where there's like freaking 6 cops and 3 horses, right? You know, so like,
and they're always responding to college kids drunk doing stupid things.
Right. And to be fair, and this is something that was brought up on Rumble. And shout out to Rumble. They've actually been. Let me give a special shout out to Rumble. They've been really good lately in fixing some issues I've had with them. So I do appreciate Rumble being real. But they did point out that the girl was probably drunk, right? That they were probably, everybody in the house was drunk, right? So it's possible, if this girl was drunk, this is the I'm willing to give her a little bit of leeway here, right? She's drunk. She may think she's seeing shit. Also, I'm going to say one other thing, Megan, and you may not like this, but nowadays, random guys coming out of girls' rooms and making noises.
Yeah, it may not be that unusual.
It's not not unusual.
Why would I have a problem with that? I know that's true.
Because Tinder, this hasn't been enabled by dating apps, right? This is not enabled in AutoZone.
My opinion is that that's a bad way. My opinion is that that's a very good way to invite a psychopath into your life, which is why I think that Tinder's a bad idea.
But to be fair, let's look at the facts. It was not the Uber driver or the Tinder that
it wasn't.
It was a random person. Fair, Tinder had nothing to do with it.
I realize that. But
so it's projecting onto Tinder.
The more the strangers you invite into your life, you're raising the odds that one of them will be a psychopath. That's all.
Okay, and that's statistically fair, right? I'm just gonna say that everybody always has, every girl I ever ask, they always say about Tinder, Bob, like, how do I know you're not a serial killer? I'm like, because they would have all my information. That'd be the worst serial killer ever. If you're literally using a dating app with your full information, your face, everything else, they can just search back and be like, oh, this is the person they met. Here's all their information. Let's go find them and throw them in jail.
Here's how you get rid of a serial killer right away. You take your best friend with you on the Tinder date, like Runkle's horrible date, but you have her there with the buccal swabs to be like, open your mouth. She's going to take the swab, and then she's going to go away. But we're going to get your name, your ID, and here's your buccal swab. And then she goes away. And then, if he is a serial killer, he's going to be like, yeah, no, probably not this one.
Yeah, and the person in general is going to be like, yeah, no, I'm leaving now.
Not her.
They're going to be like, yeah, no, I'm leaving now. I'm out of this, but I'm getting tested.
See, man, ideas are terrible.
Absolutely hilarious. So let's see, get some of these questions here. So Squid says, it's embarrassing how many times I've gone out to clubs with one group of people, time travel, and wake up the next day with the doors unlocked, then find out I came back with a different group. No, No, real talk though. This has happened to me. I remember on my 21st birthday, I was abandoned in a Vegas club by my friends, my own friends, my best friend,
Not very good friends.
left me at a club. I left with a separate group of people, woke up at their hotel because they were taking care of me because they were worried about me. That's some fucked up shit. You want to hear some like traumatic backstory? That's your boy right here. That's your boy. Southern man, mom. So sorry, mom. Oh, sorry. Maybe DM dropped her phone outside of her room while face to face with BCK, then locked herself in a room without her phone. That's fair. And if she was like this, that's a fact, not an evidence, right? We're not seeing that fact. But my comment is we're having to presume facts that we don't know and are not stated. So it's not stated that she was intoxicated, right? She doesn't have a toxicology report. And it's not stated that she dropped her phone. Right. So that would be a presumption based on evidence we don't have. And what I am trying to do with this case is make the minimum amount of presumptions based on facts, not in evidence. I'm willing to talk about it and discuss it because I do think we need rational discussion on this. But that's a fact, not an evidence. Drama in the front, party in the back says maybe she was drunk, had time. Yes, I think that is almost certain based on the fact that all of them were coming down to all of them are coming from parties or from bars. Covered whose mouth? The killer's mouth. So the mask covered the killer's mouth. Let me show you guys.
Mouth and nose, and his eyes were
a mask that
so like a COVID mask, maybe.
Yeah, a Rona mask. In fact, Rona has enabled serial killers. Let's just
there it is. Let's just be honest.
Put it out there.
There it is.
Let's just put it out there.
And it's made people in masks not be suspicious.
Yes.
We used to be suspicious of people in masks, as we should be.
Yes, we should. We should also be suspicious of meeting people at Barnes & Noble's because it guarantees you'll meet a psycho. Who else pays those prices? Who else is going to pay full price on those books? Only psychopaths are going to do that. They're going to sit there and be extorted by Barnes & Noble's.
It's true.
It's very true. Okay. So a combination, going back to this affidavit, a combination of DM statements to law enforcement, Dylan statements, reviews of forensic downloads from Bethany and Dylan's phones, and a video of the suspect as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 and 4:25. So like you said, 25-minute window.
Yeah, but actually it's smaller than that because if she was on TikTok at 4:12, okay, yes. I guess they're thinking he went upstairs first, but could he have gotten by Xana and Ethan? So they went back into the room with the food and like closed the door. Then he came in, went upstairs. So, okay, maybe more than 7 minutes if he entered, if she was on TikTok while he was upstairs murdering the other two.
It's possible. I mean, TikTok is loud. So, I mean, and also if they were sleeping, see, that's what we don't know. Like, what was the situation? Like, I don't know. We don't know the order of the murders, right?
I think the order was that Xana and Ethan were last because Dylan, the police believe that Dylan saw him headed towards the sliding door and that led them to believe he exited at that point.
And also, I'm not sure we know this fact. Do we know it was DM that called 911?
No, it actually wasn't. It was a friend who had one of the survivors' phones, and we don't know which phone. But it was a friend we don't know who used one of their phones.
That makes it even worse.
I know.
That makes it even worse. I'm just sorry. It looks really bad. But might not be. Once again, could be drunk, could be high, could be hungover. Who knows? During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. Okay, now we're going to get into the CSI, the enhanced level of evidence.
Steve Gosney was not very impressed by this one.
So this was located during the second processing. So not the first processing, the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by the first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed
What is cellular material?
I don't know what that means. I have no clue what cellular material means. There's cells in a lot of things.
I know. That's what I don't understand. Like what that could be anything. Isn't everything made out of cells?
Cells, yes, exactly. And like amino acids are in everything, right? Like
Okay,
Anyways,
the Google says cellular materials are characterized by their porous microstructure that is comprised of solid and void networks. I still don't know what that means. Many
once
biological
again, skin cells,
systems,
blood cells, like a lot of that
bone,
is,
honeycombs, marine sponge, wood and cork. Yeah, anything pretty
yeah,
much.
it could be anything. So detect a shoe print pattern with a shoe print with a diamond pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type shoes. Uh-oh, guys, Vans used by killers everywhere. You don't be sad if it's not Vans. It's like a situation. Remember, you probably remember, what was it, Jamestown, the massacres in Guyana, where it was Flavor Aid, not Kool-Aid, but the expression where they committed mass suicide. But the expression drink the Kool-Aid stuck, but it was Flavor Aid.
Jones.
It was Jim Jones, Jonestown. You know, it was it stuck even though it's the wrong brand and forever tarnished the Kool-Aid reputation.
Yes.
So I hope it's not like the Vans knockoff. It's like fans instead of Vans, you know.
Fans.
So just outside of DM's bedroom, located on the second floor, this is consistent with the statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. As part of the investigation, extensive search, commonly referred to in the law enforcement as a video canvas, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. The video canvas was to obtain footage from the early morning hours in the surrounding neighborhoods to locate the suspect or suspect vehicles traveling to or leaving the King Road residence. By the way, okay.
This is the part I love. This is the good police work you just live for.
The Vans right now, the Vans in and of themselves, that's not indicative. That's got to be taken with other evidence. Like just saying you wear Vans is not good.
Well, that's what Steve was basically saying. Like print evidence, it doesn't. It's not that great. So
yeah,
with other things, it gets better, but by itself, not so much.
By the way, this is a good question, Jay. Was she actively using, I think, TikTok, or was the phone just open and unlocked with a TikTok app open? I think they can show that she used the app, right? Like that you can track which one you last used. I would believe they'd be able to
see that, yes.
Now, whether she was actively using it or it was just pulled up or she was scrolling or she was just looking, who knows,
Believe me, that TikTok is recording every single scroll you make. Every time your thumb moves, it is recording it somewhere. Every time you like something, it is recording it. Every time you do any of that shit on TikTok, it is being downloaded into a huge database.
Every take of Collide that you try to dance to is 100%
on a Chinese server
being
somewhere.
fat to by weird CCP agents. I'm just saying,
and probably our own CIA, FBI,
and the CIA and FBI. But we'll get into their kinks later. They're weirdos. A review of the video, the footage indicated a white sedan here and after suspect vehicle 1 traveling westbound on the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow. It appeared that suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate.
Big clue.
This is going to become a pertinent clue because of what that gives away in terms of states and the different state laws. Remember, some states require it, other states don't.
Can anybody guess which state doesn't require a front license plate?
Dun. By the way, yes, I will 100% confirm, Goalie, that every furry video that is watched is documented by the FBI. I 100% can confirm that. Furries, absolutely.
Geez, our society is so broken.
How great we have fallen. How far we have fallen. A review of the footage from multiple cameras shows multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 and ending at 4:20. So starting 30 minutes before all of this kicked off, they make 3 initial passes. So they continue to pass by and leave by Willenta Drive. Based on my experience, it's a residential neighborhood with very limited vehicles that travel in the area. Upon review, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during the time frame. So very, very, very few people. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04. It can be seen driving east on King Road, then stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52.
So passes by 3 times. I mean, they've got this all on video. Unbelievable. Passes by 3 times, then a 4th time, turning around like.
Right. And then they continued where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and driving eastbound again down Queen Road. The next time it's seen, 4:20 at a high rate of speed.
High rate of speed.
So speeding away at 4:20, then observed traveling southbound on Elantra Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of the camera footage, they do not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe they likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive towards Pullman, Washington.
Well.
Pullman,
which is where Kohberger lives and attends school.
10 miles. So it's like 10 minutes away. Pretty much you're speeding at that point. From Moscow, they're both small college towns and people commonly travel back and forth. Law enforcement provided video footage of suspect video 1 to forensic examiners with the FBI that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of the unknown vehicle. They had approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI, special training to call out cars. I'm sure some of you autists in the out there on the internet could have identified this car. It was a Hyundai Elantra, a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. So they went after and put out information looking for Hyundai Elantras. They were given footage of the WSU, Washington State University campus in Pullman. A review of that video indicated that approximately 2:44, a white sedan consistent with the description of the white Elantra was observed by WSU surveillance cams traveling north. Approximately 2:53, a white sedan consistent with the description was traveling southeast towards the road that connects Pullman and Moscow. Camera footage from Pullman was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. They identified the vehicle as a 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. So consistent with the description.
Mm-hmm.
At 5:25, so after the murders, a white sedan consistent with the description was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman and WSU. The first camera recorded him in one area of Pullman. They traveled around different areas of Pullman, and the description, the depiction kind of looks like this.
Now I've got a much better map of this.
Do you pull it up?
I do. Yes, I can. Here. Now, one of my chatters today made this for me based on
that is so awesome.
Based on the travel of what happened. So we can actually take a look and see when he left, when where he left from.
Right.
So this is the starting point, which is at what did they say, 253 or 244? I don't remember. Which one it was.
244. I think
244. Okay, and then you can see how this travels. So that would be Pullman there. Here we are going westbound at 3:26 a.m., 3:28 over here. 3 passes starting at 3:29 right here. 3 passes. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards at 4:20, the car goes southbound. So it goes in a very big loop. So sorry, I'm
yeah. So it doesn't go directly back. He doesn't beeline it.
No, we're like a loop. So here we are at King Street. 3 passes, murder happens. 404, this is the 4th pass going eastbound. Now 420, we're departing going the other way, southbound, and all the way around in this very big loop, and way out of his way. By the way, he didn't go directly back to Pullman. He went way in this big loop, and he did not have to do that. So I think, and you'll find out later in this affidavit that he turns the phone back on while he's still on the road at around 5:20 something. So it looks like he's somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes back online because the phone was turned off. So we're back at the beginning, but it's very interesting. So we've got this whole map here that we can see. This is what the route looks like, because the pictures that the cops have are just bad. So there you go.
Got it. Yeah, no, the amount, sometimes, what's the crazy thing? Sometimes like law enforcement will go on such like boomer level technology. Like they'll be like horrible with their graphics and presentations. Like the internet does it better in like 5 minutes. It's like, hey chat, do this. And they're like, yep, got it.
Isn't that unbelievable? I know. I said that, and someone had it done in like 10 minutes. The chat just said something interesting. I think just missed it. Darn it. but it was what I thought of. I don't know who said it, but they said that's a good route to dispose of a murder weapon and clothes.
Great to get rid of knife, clothes, etc.
I thought the same thing.
Away from the scene, right?
I thought the same thing. Yep.
It's a good one. Thank you so much for that. Wolfsbane says, cameras, man, hate them or love them. If it was 10, 20 years ago, we probably wouldn't have caught this guy, man. It's true. And also, wait till we get to the cell towers. Like, without cell towers and cameras, this guy would have gone. There's no way this guy would never be caught. Like, this evidence, without cell phones and without cameras, there's no way this guy's caught. This guy gets away 100%.
Chat is a collective Chad. That's true. That's
chat is a collective chat. Like, it takes all of you betas to make one Chad, but you do it together.
you do it together. Really
you form a giant chud, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate. Yeah, no. Listen, Fubar,
really
I definitely keep you guys in order. You guys need to be in the kitchen baking some pies and some super chats and rumble rants. That's what you're here for, right? Just know your place, right? Know your place, chat. All right. So, November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement to be on the lookout for white Hyundai Elantras. They were looking out for the whites, right?
Why it always got to be the white guy?
Why is it always the white guys? I don't know why. They found the 2015 white Elantra with Pennsylvania license plate LFZ8649. The vehicle was registered to Brian Kohberger.
Now let me get this straight. Where did they found it registered, or they actually, is it? So
when they queried white
and this
Elantras
was on
in
what
the
date?
area,
Okay, November 29th. The date is important.
On the 29th. This is after. This is
after. This date is important because he switches his license plate soon after this. So on the 29th, they find, so this hero Chad police officer in Washington State University finds a registered white Elantra Pennsylvania license plate registered with the university. I imagine you have to get some kind of sticker or something to park. Is that probably what that's?
Probably, yes. You probably have to register your car at WSU. I mean, when I was in college, you had to register your car. I don't know if you had to register your horse and buggy back in your day, Megan, but if you had to say like, okay, old Balthazar here, he's my trusted mule, but listen, I mean, I've had to disclose way too much information for living in apartments. I mean, they want so much information on your vehicle, make, model, everything else. Shit, even hotels. I mean, most hotels I go to want my license plate number, and I'm like, I don't want to give you my license plate number, you weirdo.
That's true.
But so they identify that as one of the possible vehicles. The same day at 12:58, WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Hyundai Elantras in the parking lot, and he ran into the car and he ran the car, not ran into it, ran the car. I mean, he ran the plates, and it returned, meaning came back in his system as Kohberger's with a Washington tag.
Yep.
So this is when he's done some fuckery.
What date was that?
This was on, I believe, the same day.
Is this the same day? So on the 29th, so between the time that Daniel sees the car, the cop Daniel sees it says it's got a Pennsylvania plate. The very same day, another one finds the same car, but now it has a Washington tag. Unbelievable. Okay,
yeah, well, in the system, right?
I don't know. Ran the car.
No, but I guess he ran the car and it returned to the Washington. So in the system, the car is registered with a Washington tag. But in reality, right, the guy who physically saw the car,
it has a Pennsylvania tag on it.
It has a Pennsylvania tag.
So what you're saying is he filled out his registration paperwork for the new license plate and it wasn't ready to pick up yet.
Or what they're saying here, his plates were expiring.
No, you're going to find out they weren't expired. It was that he needed to, because he lived in Washington now. He had like 30 days or something. He had already been pulled over. He'd been pulled over in Moscow and told, you need to get your license.
By the way,
worked out.
Megan, I have been pulled over for that. I think that law is bullshit.
Oh, I agree.
That's a violation of interstate commerce. I think those police should fuck the hell off. I think we should be. I think we should be. I mean, I think interstate commerce. If we're gonna enforce ridiculous shit like saying highway funding is able to be used to mandate from a federal level the drinking age across states in the nation, we need to say, hey, you are required to accept the tags, whatever else, of every single state in the union.
I know, it's so garbage. It's so
bullshit.
garbage that you have to go and pay a new state now, however many
For
dollars.
the pleasure of utilizing their roads.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Fuck you. Like that's the government overreach. And look, in some states it's 10 days, it's 7 days. I got pulled over. It was freaking Ty Beard. How's it going? I need to hang out with you again soon. I hope you're doing well, man. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
I still haven't talked to you, Ty, about that court stuff, and I want to, about the family court stuff. We got to talk about it.
Ty knows. Ty is the Texas Rip Van Winkle. He knows all. So the license plate indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 feet and 185 pounds. He's actually he's not too thin, but he's definitely not jacked.
Well, he kind of fits the description, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That Dylan gave.
Yeah. Additionally, the photo of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. He's got the bush. Ty Beard says, "I'll take it. Better than I doubt it." Ty, if you are not on when the dumpster cases go down, you need to be on at some stream at some point for that dumpster cases, the Miller case, because we need a Texan for that. Anyways, Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male that DM saw in the room. So like you said, Megan, consistent with that guy who's
I didn't even read ahead.
Further investigation, including a review of the Lada County,
Lada,
like
see you later.
Sheriff's Deputy Duke in his body cam reports show that Brian Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop. This is the famous traffic stop that is now being played on Law and Crime. Was like so hard to get this one. And I will say,
they put their logo all over it. And for crying out loud, didn't they just get it from the public?
Yes. Which is why we need to continue to use it and continue to tell them to go F themselves, because Law and Crime are a bunch of copyright cucks. They try to ding you on that. It is 100% fair use. I will fight them every day on that. Them requesting a public record and being given it and then putting up a public record doesn't make it suddenly theirs because they slapped their logo.
Nope. Sure doesn't.
Sorry. And us, you as a reporter and me as an attorney, adding commentary to that, is transformative, and they can eat a dick. So
they can totally eat a huge bag of dicks, and they should continue.
They're assholes for trying to strike. They started with Nick, but I mean they're not going to stop. Drama in the front says the out-of-state license plate thing comes from supercar owners registering in states that don't expire registration fees or taxes. VinWiki channel talks about it occasionally. All right, I didn't know. Thank you. That I actually learned something. I didn't know that there are states that aren't assholes.
I didn't know that either. Which states are those?
Yeah, honestly,
put them on my
drama in the front
list.
Tell me what states those are, because I want to put that on a list, and informational
Montana.
list.
Is it Montana? Because Montana's on my list of places to go when I retire.
Is Montana the one that had the American Autobahn, the road that was drive as fast as you want, or as fast as you feel safe?
I don't know.
Montana equals supercar mecca. I think that's it. I don't know if they changed that road. People say Montana used to be. Okay. All right. Cool. I learned something. You guys are teaching me stuff. I love it.
Chat for the win again.
So when he was pulled over, he had a Pennsylvania plate set to expire November 30th. During the stop, which was recorded by a law enforcement, Kohberger provided his phone number as something 8458. So they had to anonymize that. Obviously, they're not going to give away that.
And here's a tip. From now on, just say phone, or you're going to get super tired of saying 8458. I'm just saying.
No, yeah, his phone number. Right?
Just say phone.
Brian's phone.
I learned that the hard way.
it's Brian's phone. So, so investigators conducted an electronic database query to learn that Brian's phone is a number issued by AT&T. Brian was detained as part of a traffic stop again. So on October, right?
Now in October. So that was November. November.
Wait,
now we're in October.
That was August. No, this is August.
August
21st was the first
Where
stop.
Did I see November? Oh, it was scheduled to expire on November.
The tags expiring. Yeah, this is what was deceptive. These traffic stops, people thought this was okay. Thank you. This is actually a good one. This is dispelling the bullshit. People, for this case, Megan, they have such a raging lady boner because the wine moms are out there. The true crime wine moms. They are just so good to make their theories, to go out there, go on Reddit and do this, that. They were making the theories that all of the traffic stops happened on the way between Pullman and Pennsylvania.
No. Oh, were they?
There was a stop.
There were 2 traffic stops between Pullman and Pennsylvania. 2.
I believe there's at least
there were 2 in Indiana. I know this. I reported on this one. There are 2.
Okay. So there's 2.
Both of them. There were 2 traffic stops that happened in one in Moscow and the other one in Pullman. Okay.
But
so
those were not the ones that are cited in the affidavit. So those are different.
The ones
those are 4.
in Indiana just happened while those are not in the affidavit.
Yes.
Those ones that happened in Indiana, there is some talk about were those stops planned by the FBI? Were they stalking this guy? Because it appeared to really be bullshit. Like, he got pulled over twice for tailgating.
And they talked way too much in those stops.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now.
Who brings up a mass killing or whatever, like a SWAT shooting twice? Brings it up 2 times.
I mean, this guy, this guy. I mean, he's clearly. I think he thinks he's a little smarter than he is.
Obviously,
but you do not speak to police, no matter what. Like, and I'm just saying, like regular citizens, even innocent people.
Yeah, where are you going? What do you don't answer that?
Here's my ID
either.
Officer. Like, that's my ID officer. Like, and you're gonna be polite. You can say, "Hey, sorry, officer, I don't answer like additional questions."
Who are those guys who do Shut the Fuck Up Friday? They're so hilarious, and they have these funny short videos about how do you answer those questions. And am I being detained? Like, can I go?
Right.
Shut up. Don't talk to cops. Man, did they have ridiculous things to say too.
This is what some people are bringing up. Yeah, this is what Jim's saying. They were pretextual stops might be an issue for a Fed. Yeah, and that's the problem when the FBI starts messing around. Sometimes they get too cocky.
It's subjective though, because if you're pulling him over for tailgating, prove that he wasn't. Most of us do tailgate on the expressway. When you're doing 70 miles an hour, are you 7 car lengths away from the car behind you?
You're probably violating a law at any given point.
Yeah. Right? So however, it's pretty safe to pull someone over for tailgating
if it comes out that you've been told to do that by the FBI and saying, "Hey, pull this guy over for anything," right? And that comes out, that's at minimum, it's not going to be a great look. Drama in the front, putting back with a nose like that. No wonder Nick won't be streaming tonight. Some legal stuff to take care of, apparently. Nick's always in trouble. You put enough whiskey bottles between your ass crack and you're going to get in trouble. I'm just saying. All right. So on October 14th, when he was detained, Kohberger was the sole occupant and driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania tag LFZ 8649. Here we go. Here's the flip. November, so 1 month later. According to WA state licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015 Elantra with Washington and received the Washington plate CFB 8708. Prior to the time, it was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience in communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. So the West, the Wild West, requires you to be totally identified. Over in Pennsylvania, you can just rock it with the back end. The trunk is enough. Investigators believe Kohberger was still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. The Elantra was then queried on December 15th, so 2 days later, by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. So I believe that may be the stop that was reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
On December 16th, on 226, surveillance video shows Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. I don't know if that's a Pennsylvania accent. I'm just saying stuff. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. Based on the information, Kohberger is a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University.
So creepy.
It is creepy. We learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. I don't know what. I guess cloud-based is just, doing research.
Digital. It's digital forensic. He talks about it. It goes into it in a little bit. Technological data. It's basically it.
These records show Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship at the Pullman Police Department. Imagine if he was a police intern while he did this. Wouldn't that be crazy?
God.
Wouldn't that make this story crazy? He wrote an essay where he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agents with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. He also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found in an open source internet search. You know, Redditors are gonna have a field day with this one.
You've seen it, right?
Oh, the Moscow Murders Reddit. I've seen it, and they do go.
No. Have you seen the survey?
Yes, I don't have it pulled up right now, but I have seen it.
Yeah. Okay, so you saw it, but yeah,
yes.
Reddit, of course, will be just so excited that they're in the affidavit.
They'd be like, they're mentioned. You know, it's like 4chan Reddit. Anytime they get mentioned, they just go insane. They go crazy. They go absolutely crazy. At least PA is as strict with license plates as election security. Oh, big oof. Big oof. But also, I don't know what you're talking about. All of our elections are completely secure, and there's no way that they can ever be messed with. And they're 100%.
We have the fairest elections in the world.
100% fairest elections in the world.
Never had any kind of
election
fraud ever.
The only country with fair elections is Brazil. The only country that is even up there with us is Brazil. Only elections that could be fair are Brazil. Josh says, I lived in maybe you mean Moscow or
Missouri?
Missouri? Yeah, maybe Missouri. For 10 years, which requires a front plate, but I never put one on. So it's not a smoking gun. Or he follows more laws than me. Yeah, I think a lot of people, if you're a student, you're coming back and forth, you're not going to be replacing your tags. Like, you're going to wait till you're caught. You know, it costs money. Students don't like paying money. That's beer money, bro. That's pizza money. That's couch money. You don't go for that. But yes, the Reddit survey is cringe. It's very, 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 very cringe.
I talked to Steve Gosney about that because he was a criminal justice major. He has his master's in criminology, and he actually thought it was pretty normal for a survey of that type. I just think that in combination with what has happened here, the questions really they just take on a new meaning. Like, if this guy wasn't someone who allegedly murdered 4 people, no one would think twice about the questions. But when you see questions like, how did it make you feel to kill or to commit your crime? And what were the steps you took before you
committing the crime? What were you thinking and feeling, right?
What were you thinking and feeling? That one in particular kind of got to me.
This one is the one because it gets to, like, how am I going to think and feel after I kill these people? Right?
Yeah. And I start to think people have asked me, what's your theory on what this guy's motive was?
Actually, and honestly, Tweety, I want to be very clear. I agree with Megan here. I think this is normal graduate school research.
Definitely.
I do agree with that. It's just in
context.
Context is when you
something
get it, right?
more. And I think
I agree with
my theory, and I could be totally wrong. I'm wrong a lot, but I could be totally wrong.
As people love to tell you, Megan. As people love to tell you.
Love to tell me how wrong I am, and that's totally fine. But I think my theory on this one is that it's possible that he has immersed himself in this criminology field for a very long time. He's 28. He's been in school this entire time. Bachelor's, then master's, now PhD. And this is a very dark topic. I mean, he's studying these, serial killers and all this stuff. And perhaps the type of mind that he has, whatever the thing that's off about him, he got obsessed perhaps with wanting to know, what does it feel like? What does it feel like to commit a murder? Could I get away with it? And I think that perhaps, like you said, he's a guy, from listening to him with talking to the police, he believes that he's smart. He's a PhD student. His father's very proud of that. He tells everyone he's a PhD student. So everyone looks at him as being smart. He believes he's smart, and he thought, I can do this.
He wants to be perceived as smart, right? Like, and you can tell those people that, like, because I know people that are smart, but they don't need to prove it, right? Those are the people that I really believe are, like, really insanely intelligent, who they don't need to flex on you. But the people that need to flex on you, I almost think they're smart, but they're, like, I almost want to call them pseudo intellectuals. Like, I want to try to create, like, a level, right? Because, like, they're smart. Yes,
there's an emotional intelligence that is lower in a person like that. Okay, so maybe they're their brain intelligence, their IQ is very high, but their emotional intelligence is quite low. They don't
EQ.
mature past the point where they need that attention. And it's like a little child. I have an 8-year-old. He is constantly trying to get my attention.
Well, it's a generation of these. I will say, Megan, once again, it's maybe a generous thing, but there's a generation of people. I'm looking at you guys out there that, are, these internet, the
millennials
tied on the internet. And you guys don't realize when something is socially uncalibrated, right? If you go check over like the font,
why? Because they don't hang out at the auto parts store enough. They don't go to the bookstore
That's
enough.
it. If they just hang out at Barnes and Nobles in the auto, if they just did that, they would be totally.
They don't socialize. You need to socialize with other people to be not awkward.
Yes, exactly. The autistic superpowers. But if it's you're just smart without that social intelligence, you're not going to do as well as if you just learn those basic skills. And even Brian Kohberger, there were reports that were pretty much confirmed that he would make weird comments at a brewery, at bars to people, specifically to girls, right? That ties out that he did not understand how these things make him look, how they make him, perceived by others. He just didn't get that. Speaking of things that are perceived, some great memes here. Excuse me, FBI here. Have you heard of quadruple suicide? Also, real quick before we go back, just for you, Megan. Just for you. I know this is a throwback for you.
Oh my God.
I know this is a throwback for you.
Leave it there. I need to take a screenshot. I have to take a screenshot.
Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. Okay, you got it? All right. This is how Megan committed all of her crimes. I'm just gonna put that out there.
It's true.
Shout out to Vealhammer who dropped that one. That one was fantastic. All right, back to the good stuff, guys. And I'll do this one real quick. Drama says insecurity plus IQ, proving it all the time. Yes,
there it is.
Agree. And then Jay said real quick, I've been in the city, Chicago, for 5 years and never changed from Indiana. Over $1,000 in tickets. Wow. Got a letter for the law firm saying pay up or collections, less taxes than less than taxes in one place. So $1,000 in tickets is less than paying for taxes in a plate.
I would believe that in Chicago.
Honestly, Jay, I kind of believe you, and that's why fuck these blue cities. Like I will say, New York, Chicago, San Francisco,
and the fees and first of all, you have to get a sticker when you live in the city of Chicago. You have to get a city sticker every year, and the city sticker when I left Chicago, and that was over 10 years ago. I left the actual city over 10 years ago. Was $350. Imagine what it is now, a decade later.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be insane,
and that's every year. You have to get one of those on your car. It's insane.
Let's get into the next part of the evidence. Actually, this is a good segue because we're getting into the towers, guys. So if you thought, wait, what? No, hold on. City sticker is $500.
Oh, okay. I believe that. It was $350 10 years ago. So yeah.
Oh my God.
And if you don't have that on your car, what do they charge you every time you get a ticket? I think it's like a $200 ticket every time you get one. It's insane.
Just take 2 of them before you get charged.
Chris Banks says Megan has laughed herself hoarse.
Oh, nice. Taxes are property tax in Indiana or something. I believe that. I mean, both Indiana and Illinois are high regulatory states. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained warrants to search cellular devices that use cell towers between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Guys, this is what they're going to do. If you think they're not going to look for the cell towers, they're going to look for the cell towers. I think most people know about this, but for me, reading through this, it shows the importance of this information, particularly in an affidavit and a charging document, and how even when you think you're smart, that may actually still give you away, right? So by you turning off your phone, putting an airline mode, they may still give you away.
Well, it's actually negative evidence, right? It's the absence of something which also shows something.
Right. And like if you left that at home, right, and you left it on, you might be able to say, I was at home the entire time.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But instead,
turning it off.
Yeah, even when your phone is off. Nope. Yeah.
This is why, even a PhD, this is PhD dummy. PhD dummy right here.
Thinks he's smart because he's read every single murder book and he's like, well, that wasn't in the murder handbook, right?
Yeah,
wasn't in the
exactly.
murder handbook.
And it even gets worse. Wait till you see what he does. Wait till you see what he does with this. Let's read it because it gets insane. You're going to be like, what?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's something on Rumble they pointed out. If anybody insists on being called doctor, like let's say they are a doctor, but they're like, call me
Dr. Jill Biden.
Yeah, call me Dr. Biden, not just Jill, you know?
When you have a PhD and you're not an MD, nobody who's not an MD should be called doctor.
You can go fuck yourself. Call me a doctor. I mean, so technically we have doctorate degrees. All lawyers have doctorate degrees. I'm not asking to be called doctor. I do want to be called master because of my master's degree, but that has not worked out very well for me. All right. So determining that, after determining that Kohberger was associated with 2015 Elantra and his phone, they reviewed the search warrant returns. They did not show, so they start out with the negative evidence. They did not show any returns in proximity to the King Road residence between 3 and 5. However, based on my training, individuals can either leave their cell phone in a different location before committing crime or turn their cell phone off prior to going to location. This is done to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cell device is used. I know on multiple occasions suspects surveil an area prior to the date of the crime. This would be done a few days before or months prior. During this surveillance, it is possible they would not leave their cell phone in a separate location or turn it off. So there's where you fucked up. When you were casing the joint, you had it on.
Mm-hmm. And even worse, he returned to the scene of the crime later that morning with the phone on.
That is just dumb. So I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical records between November 12th and November 14th by AT&T. And AT&T is turning this shit over right away. They don't even need a search warrant. AT&T is bending over backwards and revealing all your personal information. If you think any of these companies are keeping anything private, like just assume every dick pic you've sent is property of AT&T. Like you have
got to read this comment from To Be Flair.
Wait, hold on. Let me scroll up. Okay, here we go. I work in healthcare law.
Not the one. It's not the one.
Doctors.
It's the other one.
Oh, not this one?
No, it's how about never fucking carrying your magic teletalker with you when you decide to kill other people? Brian Kohberger is a window licker if I've ever seen one.
Oh, that's good.
Window licker.
Oh, that's good. When you kill other people, yes.
Your magic teletalker.
It's true. He's a criminatist. You know, he's just he thought he knew, but he did not know.
Window licker. I'm going to use
hilarious.
that. I like that. That's a good descriptor. Right?
I've never heard that. I've honestly never heard that one before.
I haven't either, but I love it.
It's a new one. It's a good one though. Pursue. And by the way, we got 925 people in this damn chat. Smash a like button if you're over here on YouTube. If you're on Rumble, get that pussy, get it good. Appreciate you on Rumble. Rumble's doing good things for me, so I really am going to be putting out that link more prominently on my social media. And if you're on the locals, just send me more Megan memes, please. I mean, that's all really I need is more Megan
Don't
memes.
ask for that.
By the way, I will say they asked if you were on the way to AutoZone in the horse and buggy. That is
for sure.
That is
for sure.
Yes.
That's the or Barnes and Noble. I mean, one or the other.
Oh no. And then of course we've gotten the people who also think they're smart. Let me just zoom out here. Let me just zoom out and show this one here. Oh no, guys, come on. Come on. How dare you defame poor Jack? R.I.P.
I think he was smart though. It's true.
He did think he was smart.
Lint liquor. Oh my goodness.
Lint liquor is great. Jay says just checked. Tax and tag is 57.35. Okay, all right. I mean, once again, we shouldn't be having to pay shit for these things. We should pay for it once and it's taken care of, right? I mean, period.
No, you're right. It's ridiculous.
So going back to historical data, so they're looking at all their certifications, blah, blah, blah. They're certified with this 15 years of enforcement. I was able to estimate locations for Brian's phone on November 12th and November 13th. So at 2:42, Brian's phone was utilizing cell towers in Pullman, Washington at his residence. Mm-hmm. So he was at his residence in Pullman, Washington at 2:42. At approximately 2:47, it utilized cell towers covering southeast of the residence, leaving the residence and traveling.
So he literally did not turn it off until he was already moving. Like it would have made sense if he had turned it off while he was in his house, so then he could say, "Well, my phone was dead. It was charging. It was off. Whatever."
Right. It was charging. It said you actively turned it off while driving, and
While driving.
in a pattern
Headed
similar
toward Moscow.
Yes. So that's what the path that you pulled up earlier, Megan. It's consistent with that path.
Yep.
So you stop reporting. So it's either in an area with no cell coverage. That's not true. I mean, the whole America's got cell phone coverage. So that's probably not happening. The connection to the network is disabled, putting the plane in airplane mode, or turned off. It does not report to the network until 4:48.
4:48.
At which time it is
Look
on
where
the
he
highway
is.
south of Moscow.
Do you want to see where that is? Where he turned it on? Should we share it? Should I share the map again?
If you got it. Yeah.
Let's see if we can figure out south. What was it again? South of where?
So the highway, state highway 95, south of Moscow. So,
right. So we know he went back around. He went back around this way.
To the right.
This has to be 95.
That's the north.
Right here. That's the north.
Well, that's the north. No. So go to the right. Go to the right. Right side.
That's the left. My left. It must be your right. Here's Washington State. So
okay.
4. Hold on. I've got that. What time? 4 what? 4:48?
4:48.
All right. So it's got to be like right around here. Number 13. The likely exit.
I think it's over there.
4:20. So here's this. This is the likely exit where he comes. Yeah. He's headed this way.
Yeah.
So this is at like 4:20 something. So he's like,
hold on, there he goes. He gets on that road down south there.
This road. Yep, we're going down here. He turns it on at 4:48 because he doesn't get back until 5. What time? 5:20 something.
Yeah.
So he's on this road when he turns it back on.
Yes.
That is the craziest thing. So here. Yeah, he's not back to campus until 5:25. So somewhere along this road on his way from Moscow to Pullman, he turns his phone on.
Yes.
What?
And by the way, guys, unlike Kyle Rittenhouse, he did actually cross state lines.
He did.
Unlike Kyle Rittenhouse.
There's the state line right there. It's right there.
Yeah, that's a state line right there. It's actually pretty clean state line there. Wolf's Pain says, you send a picture to your girl, her. What's that on your D? ... property of AT&T. Return to this address if found. Oh no. Property of AT&T. Oh God, it's so true though. It's so true. They've got all of your DMs, guys. They've got all your sexting.
Everything. Yep.
So he turns it on at approximately 5:30. He begins. He's back at the residence. So he takes a while to get back. He takes another 45 minutes to get back home.
I wonder how long it actually takes to drive this route.
It's 10 minutes, apparently. It's 10 minutes.
No. I'm talking about the one he drove. I wonder how long. We should find out how long it actually takes to go from the likely exit here at this blue dot all the way to this blue dot. Because here's why. What if he stops somewhere along the way? Because that's an awfully long time.
What's he doing? What's he doing at 5 a.m.? Are you getting a coffee, getting a hamburger? Like, where are we at?
He left at 4:20. He didn't get back until 5:25. Did he stop somewhere along the way? I think there might be a stop at a coffee shop that's coming up. Maybe he stopped at a coffee shop. I wonder if they've searched along this entire route.
I mean, it's possible, right? It's definitely possible that he stopped at like a coffee shop or a convenience store or something like that. I mean, that's a fact. I think that's, once again, not in evidence, but we may end up getting that fact.
It took him from 4:20 to 5 o'clock is what, 40 minutes? And then 25 more minutes on top of that. So yeah, he definitely went somewhere or did something between here and there.
Which would be consistent with getting rid of a murder weapon, right? Lots of areas, like I said, lots of areas to dispose of a K-bar, dispose of clothes, like, get rid of them. I'm sure he stopped. He'd had cased that out where he was going to go and the places that he was going to stop to do that. He probably figured that one out. For sure. Oh no. What are we doing here? Is this, oh my God. I'm sorry. I gotta pull this up again. Now you got an AutoZone. And you got a New York tag on. You've been upgraded.
Oh wait, I have to get a screenshot of this.
Hold on, I'll get you over here.
You're upgrading it. I love the bumper stickers.
Yeah. They've been upgraded. They've been upgraded.
What is that one say? Get what?
GITHBND, GITHSBND.
I don't know what that means, but do I want to know?
I don't know. It could be Kurt's number. I don't know. So, there you go, guys. See, we have fun.
I like that hat. I like that hat.
You're like, I kind of want it. You're like, that was in at one point. That was in at one point.
No, back in the day, those hats were very fashionable.
So he's back there on the 13th, and he leaves at 9 a.m. traveling to Moscow. And then they track him going in front of the residence with his phone at 9 a.m. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, between 9:12 and 9:21. So was he hanging out just watching the property between
he was trying to see if the police were there. Yeah, rubbernecking.
And you know what? That Dylan is really super lucky he didn't go back inside looking for his sheath, seeing that there are no cops and thinking, oh boy. So this is their route that they showed, the one that we just saw. It's just at a different angle. They've turned the map sideways.
Right.
But you can probably recognize what we just saw because that was on the map I showed you.
Same route. Investigators found he did connect to a cell phone that applied service to Moscow on November 14th, but investigators do not believe he was in Moscow on that date. So just connected to a Moscow tower. So they believe that Kohberger,
and he never went back again. He never went back to Moscow again after that day.
So Kohberger, the user of the phone, was likely the driver. So that's how you put. So that cell phone evidence was used to put together driver and car. So, if they ask, oh, well, how do they know I'm driving? Right? Well, I can just deny I was driving. That's how they're getting that together. That's how they're putting one and two together.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think they have some footage of him. Well, I think we'll get to it in in some store parking lot. So like it's obviously not someone didn't steal his car. He's driving the car.
Right. I granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI data and a pen register trap. I never heard that pen register trap trace. I know a trap trace is like tracing the number in order to aid efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of his victims, conducted surveillance, was in contact of any of the victims' associates. Pursuant to the search warrant, I received historical records. I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 22nd to the present.
Before we got to this point, when I first read this, I was like, holy shit, they only went back to the day before the murders. I would have asked for a lot longer than that without realizing, yes, of course they went back and got this. But for some reason, when the first warrant they asked for, they only got this small window of time. But that was bothering me. I was like, why wouldn't you go back all summer? But they did.
Yeah. And somebody asked in the locals, how long could this drop process drag out? This can be years. With major cases, this can be years. For the case to get resolved. I mean, if you think about it,
pray for 1 year because I can't wait for years and years.
Yeah, I mean, right now at this point, we've gotten to the point in the case where we got the suspect right. It's a case where it's caught. Now it's going to turn into a criminal case. Now this will be a criminal case, but it will not be next month. I will tell you that it will not be the month after that. This will be something that is at minimum 4, 5, 6 months at minimum. That would be rushing it if it was 6 months from now.
I said 15. My bet is 15 months.
15 months. I think it's a fair bet. I think it's a very fair bet for where it's at. I prefer to buy a range, right? I think it's gonna be somewhere between a year and 2 years. So yeah, somewhere in there. Maybe at earliest 8 months, but yeah, that's what it is, guys. That's how courts work. That's the speed of courts. So all the records show that they were using coverage that he went there 12 times prior to November 13th.
12 times.
12 times. He was
Are there any restaurants nearby? Are there any,
No. But here what it is. All the occasions were in late evening or early morning hours.
Well, there you go. So probably not. Good luck explaining that, Kohberger.
Yep.
What?
So the phone used cell resources providing coverage to the King Road residence between 10:34 and 11:35 p.m. 11:37, Kohberger was stopped by this deputy. They were using cell resources consistent with the location, traffic stop, Farm Road, and Pullman Highway.
B Smart has a very good question that we probably should address. He says,
sure.
So you skipped over something interesting. His phone pinged in Moscow on the 14th, but they do not believe he was in Moscow. How did it ping in Moscow then if he wasn't in Moscow. I
So
have a theory.
okay. So no. It was using cellular resources in Moscow. So the way that works is that, let's say the tower near you is down for some reason, it's not functioning or whatever else, it's going to go to the next available tower. That can, because these places are so damn close, it can ping off a tower that's further away, the next one over, or whatever. It can use the one that has the most availability, strength, connectivity. So it could just have pinged off it.
Though. How do they figure out where his actual location is?
Remember, they're not tracking his location. All they're doing is looking at whether it pinged a tower, whether it used
right.
the
But I mean,
resource from there.
what makes them believe that the day that it pinged the tower in Moscow on the 14th, that he wasn't nearby? Where did they think they must have some idea of where he was,
to triangulate
or
that, right?
maybe they knew where he was because they were following him by that point. He had to have been under surveillance.
That's possible, and they're not saying it here.
That's
how
they
disclosing
know.
that. That's
just
very
not
possible.
Disclosing it.
Yeah, I mean, you know how the feds roll. So
yeah, I know.
So here we go. We got the next portion here, which is he was utilizing cell resource on November 13th, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho. At approximately 12:36, he utilized cell resource providing coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand located at 810 Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance from the U.S. Chef store at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe show a white Elantra consistent with the vehicle drive past Kate's Cup of Joe. So this is how, people talk about all the Ring cameras, the phones, the surveillance. This is where it comes in, right? Like to confirm your identity, to confirm you're the driver, confirm you're the person. That's there. This is a good one. Yeah, most U.S. state universities have cell phone towers within a few miles of their main campus. Yes, true. So they finally find them using cell data at 12:46 around Albertsons. Shout out to Albertsons.
That was the store. Yeah, they got some camera footage.
Good store there. Interior footage showed Kohberger walking through the store, purchasing unknown items at checkout and leaving at 1:04 p.m. Another path of travel, but this is for afterwards.
Again, look at how terrible their pictures are. What is this supposed to show you? Did they take this with a potato that was also underwater? I don't understand. How did they get these? Why can't they just go to Google Earth and do what the chat did?
Yeah.
Just sad.
Yeah. So sorry, I just saw a manlet in the chat because Attorney Tom appeared. So, just to make sure he understands that Oompa Loompas are not welcome here. We discriminate actively.
I don't know what that means, but
he's very short. No, Attorney Tom is very short. He's a very short man.
Oh.
Additional analysis of records for Brian's phone indicate that between approximately 5:32 and 5:36, Brian's phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Idaho. Brian's phone then stops reporting to the network from approximately 5:36 to 8:30 p.m. That is consistent with Brian's phone being in the area, and that Brian's phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time the homicides occurred. So he was moving around. He was doing things, possibly disposing of things. And here we go with disposing of things, December 27th. So very recently, Pennsylvania agents recovered from the trash of the Kohberger residence in Albrightsville. Evidence was sent to Idaho State Crime Lab for testing. On the 28th, they reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as being the biological father of the suspect profile. At least 99.99% of the male population will be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. That's just how the tests read. That's their reliability, right? Of those tests is through the father. It's kind of weird. But
this was my second guess.
It's a DNA match.
My first guess when they said through a relative, I really believed it was one of those open source DNA ancestry.com.
You think it was 23andMe?
One of those places. That was my first guess, but I said also, or the feds or the cops, when they were tailing him, went through his trash, or got he had McDonald's and he threw it out and they went through that trash and got that, or whatever, or followed him into a restaurant, took his glass afterwards, because they do that stuff. They do that stuff. And sure enough, this is so great. I mean, it really, it's good police work. Good job.
Yeah.
You can go through the trash. It's public once they put it on the curb.
Once you kick it to the curb, guys, never haul back trash in once you kicked it to the curb. The same thing is true for girlfriends. So based on this information, they request an arrest warrant for Brian C. Kohberger, date of birth 11/21/94, such a baby, oh my God, and burglary at 1122 King Street in Moscow, Idaho. 4 counts of murder for first degree for Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Zana Kernoodle, and Ethan Chapp. So they're going for first degree and burglary. I mean, they're definitely. I mean, the burglary is looking pretty solid here right now. Now murder. That's going to be why this is going to be an interesting case.
Well, how is he getting? I mean, Steve Gosling pointing this out. I asked him, I said, as a defense attorney, do you like this case? Can you fight this case? Do you think you can go after it? And he said the one thing nobody can answer, and I'd be asking him is, how did your DNA get into the crime scene on the sheath of the knife, of the murder weapon? How did your DNA get there? We can maybe explain away all the other stuff, the vans, the phone.
Well, and the black person in a mask and the bushy eyebrows are not going to pin him, I mean,
exactly. The footprint, we can get rid of that. But the DNA on the sheath. So that one mistake is the thing that is probably gonna, it's gonna sink him.
And people have been convicted for less than
a lot less.
Like a lot less than that. So like having that thumbprint on the sheath, like, and I just think people give such credibility to DNA evidence, like they just fangirl over it. And DNA evidence can be wrong, and there's been times when it has been wrong, right, when they've got it wrong. But I think that people are going to look at that and say, oh, well, DNA evidence, I mean, we gotta convict on that. And certainly there's a call for that. And of course people are going to say this, they're going to say planted, I say. I mean, you could make it an FBI thing if you wanted to go that way. If you want my crazy defense theory is this is all an FBI op. I had I think Sam sent me earlier some other stuff about some shady stuff following. It's a whole long manifesto on the Grubhub food truck and the sketchy people at the Grubhub food truck and looking at those guys. I haven't had time to read through it. I'll do it another day when I'm reviewing crazy theories and what I think about them. And maybe it's not so crazy. I just haven't read it yet. But I think there's a way to turn this into a crazy FBI conspiracy theory if you really want to. And that can be a defense theory. That's reasonable doubt. Well,
we'll see. We'll see what his defense is going to do.
Yeah. So the other documents, just so you know, all the documents are up by the Idaho Judicial Cases of Interest site. So if you go here,
have you looked at all those, by the way? Have you looked?
So we're gonna flick through them. There, a lot of them they're not that noteworthy. So we'll go through them. In 2 seconds.
I would like to see. I haven't had time to look at it, so I would love to see.
So we just went through the affidavit. We had the probable cause order, the arrest warrant, criminal complaint. I'll zoom in here so you guys can see this. So you're just going to go to this one. There's multiple cases here, but we don't care about Planned Parenthood today. No. We're not caring about babies. We're caring about blondes. And State of Idaho versus Brian Kohberger, affidavit, probable cause, arrest warrant, criminal complaint, non-dissemination order, amended hearing governing courthouse conduct and notice of hearing. So let's go. We did the affidavit, so we're done with that. Probable cause hearing. This is it. It's just 2 pages. This is a certificate of delivery. But this is saying, hey, under information provided under oath, we are alleging that he committed burglary, murder in the first degree, 4 counts. And they believe that the court believes there's probable cause that these have been committed. And no bail. So there's no bail on these crimes. So,
that's right.
And remember, probable cause is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Just because there's probable cause does not mean that he's proven guilty.
No.
Han says GITHB HSBN says get husband. Oh, so the license plate on your buggy was get husband.
Oh, that's what it was?
I like it.
Get husband. I love it.
I like it. You got to find one. Apparently her Amish tactics worked. So this is the arrest warrant. This is just saying to any law enforcement officer of the state of Idaho. Information under oath has been presented to me that there appearing probable cause to believe that public offenses of burglary, murder in the first degree, murder in the first degree, murder in the first degree, murder in the first degree have been committed and accusing Brian Kohberger thereof. You are ordered to arrest and bring the defendant before the court. So this arrest document is all they needed to get him out of Pennsylvania. They actually didn't have to show the probable cause affidavit. As long as they turned this over and said, hey, we have a lawful arrest warrant in Idaho, they've got to turn him over. So at that point, you've got to extradite him. So this document was sufficient to get him extradited, and they didn't have to disclose this one. This is the criminal complaint. Very, very simple. It's the charges. So it's the charges that are brought against Brian C. Kohberger. You have the statutes, and they do it very officially. Count 1, burglary. And this is all they need to prove. These are the elements of the crime. So at trial, this is what they have to prove. Burglary. That defendant, Brian Kohberger, on or about November 13th, did unlawfully enter a residence with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder. So they've got to prove that he was not invited in. So he came in without permission, that it was a residence, which is easy to prove, and that he intended to commit the felony crime of murder. And that's a general intent. It doesn't have to be a specified intent. So it doesn't have to be to specifically kill, let's say, Ethan or Maddie, right? It can just be the general commit to murder.
And I got to tell you, with the facts we've heard so far, I mean, this has got, it sounds premeditated to me, very premeditated. 13 or 12 events of stalking beforehand, the turning off of the phone. I don't think it was a crime of opportunity. I think it was planned.
Yeah, and with the amount of times he went by, I mean, yeah, it was definitely something that they were thinking about. Oh no, I see more memes, but I'll get to them.
I want to see them. Do I want?
I'll get to them later. I'll get to them later. We got to do this. Let's stay professional, guys. Let's stay professional. So, murder in the second degree. Second degree, it did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, and with premeditation and malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogen, a human being, by stabbing Maddie Mogen, from which she died. So you got to prove she's dead. That's easy. You got to prove that it was Maddie Mogen. You got that. Got to prove that he did it. And he did it with premeditation. Now, what people don't understand about that is premeditation can be formed in an instant. So you can form premeditation very quickly. So if you say, hey, that person, you just see a person come around the corner and you think, I'm going to kill that guy, that's enough. You don't have to plan for hours. You don't have to plan for days.
But this one was planned for hours and for days, I think.
That's the thing where he's really going to be fucked on the first degree. I mean, because that the showing he was there just doubles down on the premeditation. It just makes it more intentional. So it shows that mens rea. We love our Latin words. We love to pretend that we're better than people by using these fancy words. I actually hate legalese, Megan. I think it's douchey. And I think lawyers who use legalese are...
And most people don't speak it anymore and don't know what it means. And so then we have to, what does that mean again? Mens rea.
Right.
And also I know what some of these things mean, but I forget so easily because I don't use them every day. So I have to like refresh on my Latin for law coverage, and it is annoying.
You don't. No, you shouldn't. And I'll tell you guys, if a lawyer is out here using Latin like to an absurd amount, not just once to be funny, but they're doing it like repeatedly, you need to unsubscribe and switch channels. I'm calling for it, guys, because that's a douchebag move. I mean, it really is, because they're just trying to pretend they're better than you and trying to make it so you don't understand it. That's bullshit, guys. That's complete bullshit. Or in old French is even worse. Oh my God. If they're using old French, Peter, get the fuck out. Just saying. BP said he left the sheath in the house, just dropping by, but have it going. Yes, he left it on the bed next to the body.
Yep.
That's the part that like is really damning. It wasn't just in
very
the house.
Exciting. It must have been very exciting for the police to find that. I mean, that's a big lead. Very big lead. And I'm glad for them. And I think that the police in Moscow deserve a whole lot of credit for keeping this so quiet. As much as that killed me as a journalist, because I was like chomping at the bit to get this information. Good for them, because they even made the press believe that the two roommates didn't see or hear anything. That's what was reported, that like they were knocked out of sleep for the entire time and they didn't see or hear anything. And it turns out they had an eyewitness. Holy cow. I mean, it's just, I don't think I've seen a police I don't think I've seen police keep this much information to themselves ever in any case that I know of that I've covered.
And put out kind of misinformation because they actually didn't put out this information correctly. So the rest of the 3 counts, by the way, the 3 counts for Kaylee, that's count number 3. For count number 4, that is Zana, and count number 5 is Ethan, right? So you got all of those counts there. So 5 counts against him, and his date of birth, social security number, that's set up. Okay. Have you gone over
the year I graduated high school?
God, oh my God.
That
is okay. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say about what. Well, I was actually alive. I was alive. I was around. You could have been my babysitter, right? You could have been my babysitter. Right?
I was a terrible babysitter.
Pulling me around. Well, that wouldn't have been far off from the babysitters I actually did have. Okay. So this is the non-dissemination order. This is the one that people got really, really twisted about. Shout out to Andrea Burkhart. She's going to be on with me tomorrow, actually, and we're gonna chit chat about this specifically because she really tore this apart and tore people apart on that because people were freaking out about whether people were violating this or not. Let's talk about it. So this is in this case. It was put out on the 3rd, so this is very recent, 3 days ago. So by the stipulation of the parties, well, actually 2 days ago because it's still the 5th over there, right, Megan?
Yes.
Okay, it's the 6 over here in future Asia land, but
it's weird how you've time traveled like that.
I'm in the future and I'm telling you it still sucks. So by the court, by stipulation of the parties, enters its order as follows. It is hereby ordered that the parties to the above titled actions. Okay, so let's start with English, okay? Because I know English comprehension is hard for some of you autists, but let's do it right here. The parties. So this applies to the parties and the parties alone. This does not apply to people that are not expressly listed here or party to this case. Okay? So if you are not a party, defendant, prosecutor, law enforcement, an attorney, this does not apply to you. So this includes investigators, law enforcement personnel, attorneys, agents of the prosecutor, agents of the defense. They are prohibited from making, here it is, extrajudicial statements, written or oral, concerning this case, other than a quotation from or reference to, without comment, the public records of this case. So extrajudicial statements outside of court. Any statement they make in court is totally fair play, and they can repeat statements they say in court. They can say, well, this was said in court. This is what was said in court.
Right.
And I actually really like that because I like sticking to the facts of court. I think that's actually really good. I think we don't need to get into speculation. I think we don't need to get into comments other than what we've seen in court. They need to stick to that. I've already seen law enforcement, including law enforcement Moscow PD, come out and say that, hey, we think this, we think that, we had this suspicion, we had that suspicion. I think they're fucking up by doing that. I think they're fucking up by saying.
One of the worst I've ever seen was Making a Murderer, that prosecutor. Oh my God. He came out with guns blazing. He did this and he did that. And he had no evidence for this stuff that he supposedly, of course, I guess it doesn't matter. He got him locked up, but still what was his name? He was the one that was sexting. He got fired for sexting litigants in court.
Not Wiener, right?
Ken something, the Stephen Avery prosecutor. God, he was a scumbag.
Yes.
He was
that guy was a piece of shit. Yeah.
Total piece of shit. He ended up, Ken, I don't remember his last name, but he ended up sexting with domestic abuse victims that he was representing in court. Like, what a douchebag, that guy.
These people, I mean, there are some of these people that are absolute monsters.
Oh, and he was one of these camera hounds. And like, if you get that kind of prosecutor, they can really destroy a case.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Ken Kratz. Thank you, Ken Kratz. That guy was
They can screw it up. They can screw it up because their depravity fucks up everything. Like and this can happen like even with cases you don't agree with, like when there's a unethical prosecutor, that can make it way worse. Luis Cervez says, "Is it the 6 over there? Happy fat anniversary." Hey, I don't have any alcohol right now, but happy fat anniversary to you guys too.
Yeah, I ran out of my drink.
Hold on, let me just in honor, I'll just show this right here. I'll read it in. This is the biggest, most precious hugest NFT ever. It is huge.
Oh,
God.
that was awful.
Okay, so some serious and not serious images here for you guys, real quick. Obviously we had that. This is Beelhammer put this together as an example, just as a pure example when we were talking about cell phone towers pinging. So thank you so much, by the way, Veal. So the GPS coordinates triangulate the position. So you have tower 1 and tower 2. And cell phone towers ping off towers to maintain a network connection. So by pinging, and let's say you're in this little Venn diagram area, right? They can tell you're in that zone. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you're in that zone where the murders happen. So, okay, I'm right here. And that's used to triangulate it. So it's possible when you're pinging off different towers that if you're using like to find your location, that one of the towers you ping off could be in Idaho, one could be in Washington. Very possible. Very, very possible. Let's see what else we got. We got that one. And of course, oh yes, forgot about this. Yes, apparently there's your horse, Megan.
Well, at least they used a good picture.
Yeah, a good horse too. Like that's a very good horse.
It's a very good looking horse.
Okay, so what did this order prohibit? It prohibited statements which a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of public communication that relate to evidence regarding occurrences or transactions involved in this case. The character, credibility, or criminal record of a party. So there were way too many police officers coming out in here and saying, we think he's guilty. We think we got him. We see this in terms of his mens rea. Yeah, I'm saying it one more time just to say mens rea just means state of mind, right? Just means state of mind. So his state, they're going into his state of mind. They're going into their theories. And they're also talking about the performance or results of examinations. This is actually spelled wrong. Or tests, or the refusal or failure of a party to submit to such tests or examinations. So what comes up here is a lot of times they say, why don't you submit to a polygraph? You should just submit to a polygraph. Never submit to a polygraph. That's dumb as hell. Even if you're innocent.
Are they even admissible in court?
They're not reliable. There's so many methods to get around them. There's so many methods to, lie and establish a baseline, squeeze your anus, also blink, do all sorts of other techniques.
Are you kidding me? You can just squeeze your butt cheeks together and beat the test?
It's the strongest muscle in your body. It's not really messaging. Remember, what is it measuring? What is a polygraph measuring?
I don't know anything about a polygraph.
Electrical impulses that are sent through your body when you're nervous, when you twitch or do something else. We like to think we're complicated and full of magical fairy shit, but it's all it's all electrical impulses sent around your brain.
Fairy shit.
When I say finger, point at Megan, that's an electrical impulse from my brain that says point, right? It's very fast, but it's electrical impulse. So it's measuring that. Your ass squeezing is a strong as hell electrical impulse that says ain't nobody busting this pussy.
Oh, that's funny.
That by doing that, you're faking it, right? So you can establish a fake baseline, then don't do it later.
I guarantee you, everyone in the chat right now is squeezing their ass.
No. They do that on the regular. And yes, polygraphs are usually not admissible in court.
So why would anybody submit to one? I will never understand that ever. By the way,
what's up, Darth? Good to see you, bro.
This reminds me. Have you watched that Holtzclaw interrogation of? I just found this, and I know that guy went to jail for like 263 years several years ago. Do you know about this? The cop that went to jail for supposedly graping a bunch of women. Do you know about this?
Oh, was it a cop that did it?
Yeah, I think his name is Holtzclaw. Does that sound familiar to you? I just watched his interrogation, and I could not believe that a police officer sat there and answered questions by interrogators. You went to the police academy. You know you're not supposed to talk to police. You know that their entire point of being there is to get you to talk to them and not talk to a lawyer.
Yes.
How would you not call a lawyer as a
They're
cop?
not your friends. They are never your friends, right? They are always there to get you. They're always there to come after you. They're always there to catch you, right? They're not there to help you. They're not there to, be your bud.
They're there to get somebody put in jail because that's their job, is to get somebody the prosecution can lock up. And I don't think, after watching that interrogation by Holtzclaw and then watching Michelle Malkin's coverage of it, which everyone should go watch on YouTube, I don't think he did it. I think it was a setup, and the guy got 263 years or 68 years in prison. No chance of parole for some kind of Me Too race hoax. And a bunch of the women already recanted, and it doesn't even matter. His appeal got turned down by the Supreme Court. I cannot believe it. It's really sad.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. Apparently, I didn't know polygraphs were invented in World War II. Interesting. And also, quick question from on locals. Mike NC or Gaben NC sent legal mindset. Don't they honor the warrant because of full faith and credit clause? Yes. If so, why did the Texas dads sue in California federal court? Conflict of laws, right? Because like you could potentially have a conflict of laws if one prohibits aiding this transing of kids without consent of both parents, and the other one essentially is sanctuary state for doctors committing these atrocities on children, and for one parent to have the authority to do this to their child. That's a potential conflict there. Now Texas said, hey, it's not a right, it hasn't happened yet, so it's theoretical, so we can't take it, but it's going to be a weird situation. And by the way, I said this, Megan, I think we're going to see more political refusals to extradite in the future. When Texas and California, Florida and New York, they have difference of law. Oh, yes. I think there's going to be a point in our near future where DeSantis will say, you know what, fuck you. I'm not sending these guys to New York. No, I do. I mean, we haven't got there yet, but it's going to happen.
It's going to, if it's a political thing, like a January 6th thing, I could see that happening. Absolutely. I mean,
I think it's going to be a difference of laws. I think there will be difference in laws, particularly involving this rainbow alphabet stuff. I think when it comes down to children, I think there's a line. I think we saw that in Loudoun County, Virginia. And I think people are willing to say that what's happening to children is not okay. And if you say, oh, I'm going to shelter a child like that because we're protecting all T lives, there can be no, we've heard this with Me Too. Women can't commit crimes. Now the next permutation of that is, if you're a member of this LGBTQA++ community, you cannot commit a crime. That's an expansion of Me Too.
Yeah, you can't. They start by the you can't criticize us, and then all of a sudden it's no, you have to believe all of us. And even if we make an allegation, well, we're obviously telling the truth, and all of that is completely bullshit. You've completely opened the door here, Andrew. I'm going to have to grift because I wrote a book about the Me Too.
Yes, I opened it for you.
You opened the door. I've written an entire book about this. It's called Believe Evidence, The Death of Due Process from Salome to #MeToo. And it goes into historical and also times in literature throughout our Western culture where we have examples of women who have lied and cheated and done all sorts of things to get men murdered, put in prison, wrongfully accused of all kinds of terrible crimes. And we can't just believe one group of people because they're whatever the oppressed group of the day is. This book is interesting. It's on, you can find it on Amazon.com. And Steve Gosney just did an incredible review of it on his Rumble channel on crime law. And it's a wonderful review that he did for me. So I appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah, Dar said it's been happening since the beginning of time. I agree.
And I actually start with the beginning of time in my book. I start with Genesis. I tell several of the stories.
The beginning of time. These
we
hoes
start
ain't
right
loyal.
with Eve.
They're betraying us for that snake, man. They got that apple.
That's right.
They got the apple. They're like, yo, I'll give you this apple. You just got to subscribe to my buy an NFT from me. And she's like, okay, sounds good. I'm buying it. Totally nothing wrong can come from this. Hey, Adam, we're $100,000 in debt. Adam.
That's exactly it.
Oh, God. It's crazy. So anyways, the last part of this gag order was they cannot talk about any opinion on the merits of the case or the claims or defense of a party. And last, any other matter reasonably likely to interfere with a fair trial. They're already fucking with due process on this. So they got to be careful. They're pushing it. So this is the non-dissemination order. So this went out. People got really confused. They thought, okay, does this mean there can never be public statements? Turns out they had to clarify. Yeah. So they came out, I believe this was just like a day later. Yes, it's like a day later. Saying, the court is mindful of the need to balance the constitutional right of the defendant to a fair hearing, the public's right to information in conjunction with constitutional and statutory rights of the media to attend, and the court's interest in maintaining order and environment that permits all participants to focus on their responsibilities without undue distractions, and the court's interest in the safety of the public and court personnel, and the need to follow all Idaho Supreme Court orders. So with these factors in mind, the courtroom seating and attendance, seating for the victim's family, counsel, defendant's family, and court personnel. Certain seating may be reserved for counsel, authorized personnel, defendant's family, and victim's family. Pooled media. So here we go. The representatives of the media serving as the pooled camera staff shall be seated in an area approved by the court as designated by the administrative district judge, presiding judge, trial court administrator, and bailiff, subject to a limit of 2 media members operating the pool audio and video and 1 media member handling the pool still photography. By the way, since this is a pool, this is open for everybody. This is public. This is out there, right? This is supposed to be for the public. This is public access. Just because Law and Cuck puts their tramp stamp on it doesn't mean that they can claim this. This is public. This is it is bullshit to have any of these people claiming that a pooled media camera is their camera. That is the public's camera. That is the people's camera. They can suck one. General public in a minute. And listen, I know it may seem like I'm harsh, but I'm particularly harsh because they go and strike creators for just covering this and getting out their analysis. General public and media. The public and members of media not designated as pooled staff are permitted as space permits on first come, first serve. No person may reserve seats and no standing in the courtroom. So that's going to be a shit show. You know, there's going to be people lined up every day, sort of the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. This is going to be crazy. Seating in front of the bar. No other person other than court personnel designated by the court, defendant, counsel, may be permitted to sit in front of the bar without specific authorization. This is typical. Typically, you have to be like a lawyer to be past the bar. You know, get it passing the bar. You know, you're sitting in the front, or defendant, witness, perhaps. Entry and exit during court. Spectators, including members of the media and public, shall be seated before court is in session. No re-entry or entry shall be permitted while court is in session. You go take a piss, you're not coming back in.
I was surprised though that they didn't let it be carried live. I mean, when it says broadcast, and broadcast to me means broadcasted live. What is
now? Remember, this is in general, so they may have had the first appearance.
So you think this applies? Does this apply to every hearing he's in? Is that what you're saying?
So far, it does. They may change that at trial time, you know, but I do believe it applies. Now they may show some things live.
That's
they may
choose to stream that's the way I read it. I read it that it would apply to his entire case, just the way it was written at the top, you know, with the parties and whatnot. So, but it says that it's up to the judge, right, to make changes along the way. It says that at the top.
Yes, the judge can make changes.
But I didn't like that they were holding the broadcast. I mean, if they do that during the trial and they don't let the trial go live, no,
Megan, they're not going to do that. Like
they better not.
That I do not think they will do. Like I honestly do. I really do.
Let me ask you here's a question though.
Because here's the thing, they wouldn't make it available. They wouldn't make it available.
However, they would maybe they would only make it available to the pool reporters.
This was a good one. Will this trial start before McCarthy becomes House Speaker?
Hopefully, it will start before he becomes House Speaker.
Or Trump becomes House Speaker. Didn't Gates nominate Trump today?
He did.
That happen? Okay.
He did it. He did. But here's a question, though, Andrew. We know for a fact that the mainstream press hates all of what is called law tube, struggle tube, whatever.
Okay? I mean, the people on the internet covering this, yes,
they hate it. They hate what we do. They hate that we cover these things live and that we have an outside opinion and that we're not inside, going along with their narrative. And in fact, we bust their narrative every single time there's one of these trials. They hate that. They absolutely hate it. So it would not surprise me if at one point it started becoming more normal for the broadcast rules to be that the press that is approved can film the trial and then they can disseminate it later at a later time, which is what they did today. And now they didn't edit anything to my knowledge, but what if they start doing that, taking an 8-hour trial and editing it down to just the things that the media wants you to see? That's what concerns me about what I saw today.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. And like, obviously if you're like screaming out the data, you know, like if you're removing pertinent information. We should be able to see everything. Now I get, look, if it's something that's like a sidebar or off the record or outside the presence of the jury and they want to not show it, I agree with that, because I think the jury is probably seeing that, and watching that. Even if they're told not to, they end up seeing it somewhere, because this case is going to be played everywhere in America. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be impossible to get away from this, just like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It's impossible to get away from the TikToks, everything else. But editing it, like especially deceptive edits, that's what I'm very wary of.
I'm very worried about that. And if that's the case, let me just tell you this.
And by the way, once the trial is over, I think everything should be released, even the sidebars. Everything should be released.
Oh, I agree with you. I think there should be cameras in every courtroom in America, and including federal court. I don't believe that there should be any court happening.
Especially
especially family court.
Especially the feds, because the feds have gotten away with too much lack of accountability for too long. They're high on their
Yes,
their
but
own supply.
here's the thing. If that happens, and if for some reason they decide that they're going to like try and control the narrative, I promise you, I will crowdfund and I will fly my ass to Idaho and I will sit in that courtroom every day. I will sleep on the sidewalk if I have to, but I will find out what actually happens, because I swear they're terrible. They're just terrible.
And Arno, this is exactly what happened. It is exactly what happened. They made Amber Heard the victim. They still do, by the way. They're still trying. They're still trying to gaslight. And what don't we know about Epstein, right? Let's just go there, right?
I'll say it real quick. Nothing about Ghislaine Maxwell's trial.
What?
Nothing.
Hey, Megan, can you name one of their clients?
Nope, not one.
Weird.
Not one has been arrested that I know of.
Weird. But they know that you're transferring $600 out of your bank account.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And look, we can't allow it. We can't allow it. So whatever they do to try and get around us, we're just going to have to go right through them. Right. Just period.
Let's blaze through the rest of this. General restrictions and requirements. A lot of these are standard, guys. A lot of these aren't crazy. Security. All persons entering are subject to security screening. No food, beverage, firearms, or other weapons. All handbags, backpack, purse are prohibited. Any personal property is subject to inspection. That is very standard. Nothing weird about that for a courthouse. I've never not gone through a metal detector going to a courthouse. That was going to happen anyways. But just putting it in writing, making it official. Cell phones are permitted, but must be turned off and shall not be used for recording or transmission of sound or images. Violations of this rule may result in confiscation of the phone. So no live tweeting.
That's pretty usual from a courtroom, though. I mean, I don't think I've ever been in a courtroom where you were allowed to do that.
Yeah. So other electronics. Only authorized member of the media, designated court personnel, their counsel, and assistants may use laptops, computers, and other devices for note taking.
I've done that. I've brought a laptop.
They shall not record or transmit sound or images from the courtroom. Violation of this rule may result in confiscation of the device. Disruptive behavior. Any activity or behavior which is considered disruptive will result in removal. Any spectator who creates a visual or auditory disturbance to the court may be removed from the courtroom in the building at any time at the discretion of courtroom security personnel. This is the what people say, the whole DUI guy drama back from Amber Heard, they say, that's a disruptive, right? Mm-hmm. And okay, if your judge is an asshole, then maybe you could say it would be.
But when the entire audience and the lawyers make the same face, you can't say it's disruptive,
That's where I had the line with the struggle folks, is that
every person, including Elaine, made that face,
Elaine, and including those people on stream. So I'm like, that was a natural reaction.
And Johnny's lawyers, everybody did. Everyone was like, I mean, that's not a disruption. That's just a natural human reaction. Everybody is trying to keep their emotions in, but when something like that happens, everyone just reacts. It's
a bombshell moment. You honestly, frankly, you usually don't get many of those moments in court. I know TV kind of preps us for the courtroom bombshell, but usually you know what they're going to say. You've had the deposition. That was
pretty boring.
Holy shit. When even Elaine is shocked, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And then of course, you have COVID precautions, any orders from the Supreme Court, the judge related to protocols, all persons have to follow them. Wah, wah, wah. Media coverage, cameras. If the court allows cameras in the courtroom and orders that media coverage be pooled, the media shall have access to and share the video received. Boom. Look at that. Members of the media shall designate and agree on an operator of each camera. So this says right here that everybody, all media, including Megan, including me, everybody, it doesn't have to be just elitist media, mainstream
just
media.
wait. They'll find a way to fix that someday. Maybe not with this trial, but I'm telling you, they're constantly trying to figure out how do they keep us out of it.
Yep.
And here's how you know, because every time one of these big trials comes along that's somehow controversial, the Washington Times colludes with other journalists to destroy YouTubers like Tug and like who else did they write about? Emily Baker, and they wrote about the other one, Legal Bites, and they wrote
about everybody.
They wrote about
They wrote about Nick too. Nick was written about,
and they try to destroy the YouTubers by saying that somehow we create an atmosphere that is
toxic.
Yeah, some kind of as if the guy at the what's his name? There was a LA paper.
My favorite
Atlantic. What is the paper?
Megan. I think it was the Atlantic, but the favorite one was that Emily Baker and Legal Bites, of all people, were creating toxic masculinity and misogyny.
Like they're so nice and like
Emily D. Baker is misogynist.
Emily's always trying to be like so calm and circumspect about everything. I mean,
her chat is fully moderated. Like it's the opposite of me and Nick's. It's like if we're like censorship free, that's like super censored to become clean for YouTube, which is, by the way, smart, because that's how you grow on YouTube. If you want to be a degenerate with a mere 928 followers who all need to smash a like button right now because we're only at a mere 487 likes. Come on, let's get to 700.
But meanwhile, while they are claiming that people on YouTube are somehow creating a toxic environment, there's a literal reporter at one of the largest papers in California that I can't remember now, who reported that Jason Momoa testified in the trial. He literally reported a meme video as real news because he didn't watch the trial because he's lazy and stupid, and they put that. And those people are allowed to be news reporters. They didn't even watch. They're literally making shit up, falling for a hoax. We all knew. None of us reported anything that did not happen in that courtroom like the mainstream press did.
Yeah.
It wasn't the LA Times. I'm thinking I reported it when it happened. It wasn't the LA Times. It was the other one that's out there. It was a big one, and I can't remember it now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't recall that one specifically, but I know that there was a lot of horrible reporting around the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. There's a lot of fake news. There's a lot of fake information. Like that was just something that was legion at the time. God, there's another. I love these memes. The thing is, like, these guys will create memes like so quickly. It's fantastic.
It was the LA Times. It was. I just found my reporting. It was the LA Times.
We have Adam and Eve with Eve selling a Bored Ape NFT right here to Adam. Look at what she got, guys. She was ready. She was ready with your apes.
I love it.
Ape in, because Eve already did. And then of course you got Kevin McCarthy. Still waiting, guys. He is still waiting. I love it.
That's funny.
Great. All right. So here's the part where people got confused. Let's get this. Courtroom media. Allowed media representatives and their equipment will be allowed in the area of the courtroom designated by the judge. The number and placement of pool cameras being used to audio and video record the proceedings is subject to the approval of the court. 2 audio video recording devices and 1 still camera. A traditional still camera shall have a silent shutter. A no flash photography is allowed. No, here we go. Live broadcasting, transmitting, or streaming from the courtroom is allowed. No movement around the courtroom will be allowed during court proceedings. Camera and audio equipment.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see this.
Yeah, shall be disassembled. So for now, live streaming, transmitting, and live broadcasting, transmitting, and streaming is not allowed.
I have never seen that. I didn't see that in this.
Right here. Yep. A lot of people miss that part. That's the part.
Now I wonder why. Why? What is the purpose of that?
I think they think it might create like an incident, or there might be, something that would unfairly prejudice them.
Brad, but coughing is allowed constantly.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Terrible sound equipment where we can't hear anything. It just sounds like the whole time. That's what we're gonna have to listen to.
Portion of the proceedings which may be televised. Here you go. Photography, video, and audio is not permitted during a recess of the court proceedings. Recess means anytime the judge is not on a bench or is not on record. No electronic device shall record video of any bench conference, sidebar between the court and counsel, nor any conferences between an attorney and client or conference among counsel. No live broadcasting or streaming from the court is allowed. So what I think is going to happen here is they're going to change this order.
Well, I hope
when
so.
it comes towards the trial. I think this is going to be changed. I think this is just for now. I don't think this stands for trial. That's my take on that.
I hope so, because if it does, there's some serious fuckery that's going to happen. Not that this is one of those cases that they would really want to do that. I mean, it's not political in any way.
They won't. Here's the thing, Megan. There's an economic incentive for people
to want the
this information. Yes.
They want the ratings. They don't want to share them with you and with Nick they don't want to share those ratings and those numbers and that money. They hate the fact that Tug makes money on what he does. And in fact, that's what they focused on when they went after the YouTubers. They focused on all the money that was being made. Yes. And I'm sorry, but you put it next to the
nothing.
It's a drop in the bucket compared to what ABC News makes.
And Megan, they put all those videos, they send them yellow or they make them ineligible. So we don't even get the regular monetization from that. And mind you, YouTube is taking a regular cut of 70, 80, 90% of the real ad revenue. So we're not getting that. And ABC gets 100%.
YouTube is pushing all of the mainstream media coverage. They push it right to the top of YouTube. It's all the recommended. You have to page down and page down and page down to find, the independent content creators, because YouTube will not push us. They push those people though, and they're making millions. Look at what Law and Crime is making. They're making so much money. It is incredible. And have they ever been written about? Have they ever been written about by the Washington Post as being somehow, dangerous to our democracy? I mean, yet, or toxic male space or whatever the hell it was they were going after Nick for, about being part of the manosphere or whatever.
Right.
But who cares? Who cares?
He's not. I mean, have you seen his arms? I mean, come on, man. There's no way. Have you seen that? There's no way. With Nick, there's no way. It's part of the virginosphere, except for he has 5 kids.
It's so disingenuous of them to claim that this group of YouTubers is making all this money, and maybe to me it's a lot of money what Tug makes.
To us,
but to ABC, it is nothing.
It's a drop in the bucket. And yeah, exactly. You're right. Also, Legal Schmiegel, the people that they push, that guy makes millions of dollars. I mean, I'll put that out there. He makes millions of dollars.
Is anybody writing about him?
Promoted videos. No, because he's sucking off everybody in Hollywood to get where he's at, sucking off Susan, or licking her off, whatever it is. It just happens to be the thing that happens. If you're nice with YouTube, you play nice, you get fun toys. So let's jump into this. Actually, hold on. There's one more thing. Larry says, Andrew, why don't lawyers wear wireless mics at trial?
God, they should.
For all the money and fees they collect, they don't upgrade their technology. These boomers.
And
they'd rather spend money on paper.
Why doesn't the media just hook them up? They have all of those microphones. Why don't they just
just
be like, here, let me just put this on you. Here's a little battery pack. I'll check it at the next break. Like what? I've worked with camera crews. They have all kinds of cameras in their things that just go, and all kinds of microphones. Just go put one on them.
They could not work a lav mic if their life depended on it. And some of these old lawyers
I've watched these lawyers trying to work their laptops to do the presentations in court. That's some of the funniest shit you'll watch during court. That's when the drama usually happens, when they can't get the dongle to work.
People go unbreaded. Good to see you guys in the chat. Golden Girl says, wait, did you just read that they want to allow BCK trial to be televised? I don't know. So this is what it says. Don't get it twisted. It says right now, as of
but
date,
also
here's
what it says at the top. It says this may be changed from time to time.
Yes. So here we go.
Way at the top, it says we will.
Right here is the line. Yeah, you're right. As maybe, so there's a balancing. They're balancing the right to the hearing, the right to a fair trial, the public's right, the court's interest in order, and the public safety. And they may be amended, right? So right at the top, may be amended from time to time. So I anticipate this will continue to be amended. I do not think this is something that's going to be permanent. I don't.
I hope not. I don't think it will be, because here, okay, let's also look at this. Andrew, you're a lawyer. You probably know this, and I'm part of the media, and I know media has lawyers. And if they tried to keep this from being streamed, I believe there would be networks, media networks
at this point,
that would challenge it in court.
Yes.
They would sue to have it changed, and they'll probably want to avoid that.
Now, they haven't had time to challenge it for the first appearance, because that just happened like off rip, like 40, within 24 hours of him getting there, right? But they will have time to challenge it before the trial. And if this shit stands before the trial, they want that grift. The grift is strong, so they're going to go for the money. Those people are going to go for the money. The court TVs, the lawn cucks, they're going to sue. And if they're allowed to do it, everybody's allowed to do it. The law applies to everybody. So let's let those people, those fuckers.
For sure, lawn cuck would sue.
C-SPAN, they'll all do it. They'll all go in there.
Because they make so much money on that live streaming. There's no way that they would give that up. Absolutely,
we will all be streaming this. We will all be streaming this Porcelain Thunder. All the legal grifters are going to come out, and some new ones, by the way. You'll get new legal grifters every time there's a big case. There's going to be new legal grifters. I support it, by the way. I think we need more good people out there. I want more good people to stream with, because I'm tired of some of the old people. So let's refresh them with some new blood. Let's get some young blood in here. Maybe let's get some non-lawyers too. Fuck all these lawyers. Let's get some non-lawyers. So restrictions on photographs. No video or still photographs shall be taken of any papers, documents, or notes located in or around counsel tables. No video or still photography shall be taken of the victim's family or defendant's family without their express consent. Didn't
somebody get in trouble during the Depp trial for taking a picture of a computer?
Yes. That was some bullshit. They should not have done that. They should not have done that.
Right. And that's normally something that I've not seen it in orders, but I would imagine that's pretty usual to be there. Right. The media shouldn't be focusing in on stuff like that.
By the way, by thoughts and pool streaming the case, I think you mean me and Nick. I think what you're thinking is thoughts and pool streaming is going to be me and Nick for sure. So interviews, reporting, and vehicle parking. News conferences, interviews, reporting is prohibited inside the courtroom or courthouse. News conferences, interviews, or reporting in the courthouse parking lot in or on the courthouse grounds is prohibited between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Any news conferences, interviews, or reporting from the courthouse grounds shall be done in a manner to not impede foot traffic, obstruct access to the courthouse, or interfere with the daily operations of Lada County. Lada County. Media vehicle parking is prohibited. And any interviews, media reporting, or media parking shall be subject to additional orders. So they probably will clear that shit out. All media inquiries have to be directed to the poor county clerk. Here's a number. Or Nate Pepino. Nate is going to get...
That guy is going to be swamped.
Overwhelmed. We talked about disruptive removal, security, got all that, signed the 4th. And the last document we had was the notice of criminal hearing here, which was at 9:30 a.m. on the 5th in front of Judge Megan Marshall. And it was presented to William Woodford Thomas, the prosecutor, and Anna Sher Taylor, who's the public defender.
Now, Andrea Burkhart thinks that the judge is going to be Judge. There's another judge. His name is Judge.
That's hilarious, by the way.
It is so hilarious. Yes. I can't wait to be streaming a trial where the judge is Judge. You can't really call him judge at that point, because that's it could be considered, kind of rude if you because you might be calling him by his last name and not by his title. You're going to just have to say Your Honor, because calling him judge might be rude.
It's kind of weird. It's a little weird. Not going to say saying judge is going to be a little weird. I would not. I'd just be or maybe just call him judge, right? Because it's accurate. It's accurate either way, right?
It's accurate, but you could also be seen as calling him by his last name instead of by his title. So you don't want to piss off the judge.
That's true. But I'm sure the judge will, if a judge who cares will correct you immediately, by the way. Because judges have no shame in being call me this. And you immediately call them that. So that would actually be funny to see them correct that. If somebody called him JJ, I think he'd go nuclear on him.
I would not recommend that. No.
Yeah. Bob says, Cameron and Mike acquired. Mike in my local chat said, I may end up a legal grifter. All of you guys, dude, all of you guys in the chat. Look, if I can do it, if Nick can do it while he's drunk, you guys can do it too. All of you should do it. And, I may try to have some more stuff out there to help you guys do it, because I think everybody should. I think we do not need to live in a world of scarcity mindset where we're all competing for limited resources and time and attention. doing us covering this brings more light to it. We need more people exposing this, not less. We don't have enough hours in the day. Megan, the way Megan covers things, even when we cover the same topics, like Casey Anthony, which we haven't got to talk to yet. I have to go soon because it's Joe's show, but we'll talk briefly on Casey. But when we cover Casey or the Idaho 4, I don't view it like, hey, this guy stole my topic. That's some small dick energy,
I was
scarcity
thrilled when
mindset.
I saw you were covering Casey Anthony, because I'm like, I thought I was the only person doing this. And here Andrew's out there doing the whole trial. I should watch your coverage because I'm like trying to pick out. I don't want to cover the whole thing.
I was until the news got crazy, and I'm like, the news is too long.
It's too crazy. I couldn't do it either. Yeah. I don't either. I don't have time, and it's unfortunate because it's one of those trials I didn't get to watch, and I want to know like what was the screw up.
Fantastic trial, craziness. We watched the last thing I did was the review of the sniffer evidence. Arpad Voss, who now teaches divining with metal rods, like to find the bodies. Like this. So
there's a diviner and psychic dogs and a snake topsy in this case. It's incredible. I mean, the psychic dogs thing that Jose went into had us on the floor. There were memes of dogs in turbans. I mean, it was fantastic. There's some great stuff in this trial, and I just don't have the time. My God, the news has been so crazy.
It's too fast.
It's too fast, and I'm one person. It's like I cannot keep up with this.
But I will say, if it turns back to a defamation case, I'm going to be right back on it, covering it, and I'm just going to pick up where we left off and keep moving with it, because frankly, I think it's going to be very, very, very possible there could be a defamation case, especially because she alleges new accusations which were not in the original case.
I know, but I think he's not going to sue. And here's why I think he's not going to sue. I think it's because
I see that point.
I think it's because I think he's been bankrupted already with the other legal stuff that they've been through. And I don't think they have the money. So that would mean someone would have to take it on contingency because they wanted to sue Peacock, right? Because Peacock's the money.
And they have deep pockets.
You're not getting anything from Casey Anthony, but you sue her and you sue Peacock.
I think she's got some of that sugar daddy money wherever she's getting it from. She's got something there.
Maybe, but not much. I mean, what does she have? She's been working for a private detective. I'd say that if there's a lawyer out there who really wants to go after Peacock, but will do it on contingency, then maybe it'll get done. But what lawyer do you know isn't going to take at least $30,000 retainer for a job like that, or more minimum, probably
minimum. That's I'm going to want something up front.
Yeah.
I want to get something up front. I mean, that's just like, once again, this is lawyers, guys. We're like very practical. We're very into getting paid. That's just the way we are. That's good. That covers, that'll be the Casey Anthony clip. Like, does Megan Fox think this is Casey Anthony is going to call? And there we go. That's the clip.
We don't have to get into it that much.
No, that's good enough. But on the Idaho 4, I will stay tuned on this. I think there's going to be some hearings, some appearances that might be interesting. If they're long enough to review, I will review them. I think the next status hearing is January, I believe, 13th. I have to double check on that, but at the next status hearing in, let's say, a week or two, I will cover that. It's not going to be live yet, but I will review it. So don't worry, we're on top of this, and I'll be working with you, Megan. If you're still covering this, I'm happy to work with you again and talk with you about this. I think it's fantastic to have partners on these cases. And, it's interesting because this is not the point at which it's starting to become more of a legal case. Before it was true crime. And it's like, hey, I'm covering true crime. It felt like I'm covering true crime because they haven't been caught yet. But now it's turning into a legal case. And now it's like, all right, you're on our property.
I'm so happy that they got a guy, that they have a suspect under arrest. I was so worried that this case was going to go cold. And but kudos to the police.
I expected it to be cold, honestly. I'm going to be honest.
Every day that went by, every day past that 48 hours, you should worry. I mean, I have been talking on I do True Crime Tuesdays on my stream every Tuesday. I've been talking to an ex LAPD, LA Sheriff's Department homicide deputy who's been retired for a while, Joe Raffa. He's great. And he same thing. He was like, every day this goes past 48 hours, I'm worried. He worked on the freeway killer in LA. He worked on all kinds of serial killer cases. Really interesting guy. And he comes on Tuesdays, and we've been talking about this case for weeks. And it was just thrilling when they made this arrest, and so thrilling to find how they captured him and how they followed the path of a killer. I mean, it's just wonderful to see good police work, and I think they did a good job. And I think that I think he's going down for it, but he's innocent unless proven guilty. But I think they're going to do it.
Thank you for that. Yes, and I say that's the thing I'm going to do here. I am giving a fair trial. I'm giving due process here. I'm never going to say he is guilty. I'm saying the evidence may lead towards a guilty verdict, right? Like it's
because we haven't seen the jury yet.
The jury may be biased towards guilty. The jurist may be this and that. I'll say that. Those are facts. I'm not going to say he is guilty. Those are words you will never hear out of my mouth. He is definitively 100% guilty. He is 100% innocent. No, it's looking like he's guilty. And what's my speculation? I speculate he might be guilty. I am not prejudging this guy. He is entitled to a defense. Even the worst, most depraved people under our Constitution are entitled to a defense. I firmly believe in that. So, guys, if you want to check out Megan, her channel is over here, Megan Fox Writer. She's at 17.5. Oh, look, I got to subscribe here. So I'm subscribed to you now on my main channel, not my backup channel. And so go over and do what I did. Subscribe to her. She's got her live videos over here covering the Idaho 4. Got her, pre-recorded videos here.
There's
going
even some
over
fat shaming by Nick there, which is
a
hilarious.
whole lot of good stuff. Fat shaming is great. You got your great Cancy Anthony recaps, which I think is fantastic. But yeah, check out Megan. Check her out on Locals as well.
Yes.
I believe it's Megan. Is it Megan Fox Writer?
It's just meganfox.locals.com, and we're having so much fun over there. Somebody in the chat earlier tonight made me laugh, saying that I should do streaming with low-cut tops and laundry folding. Well, that's what I'm doing over on Locals, is basically laundry streams. I can't promise the low-cut tops, but there might be. I mean,
they do show up. They do show up
occasionally.
And the chat does simp. They are appreciative. I do see them in the chat. I do see all the cow emojis. I see you guys. I ignore you.
We see you.
I love you.
We
see you. We see you ignore you, but I see it there. Senpai notices you even when you're degenerate and bad. But until next time, guys, take care. And I will catch you later. Rumble, smash that pussy, smash the like button. Thank you, guys. I'll catch you later.